Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Moonbase podcast. I am joined here today. Let me unmute myself in Discord. I am joined here today with my good friends Nate, as you'll see right there up on top, right here.
What's going on, everybody?
We got Mr. Heat Snipes here.
How's it going?
We got the Sneak Bunny myself here. Hello. And we got Mr. Scooby down there with that weird logo.
What up?
I think it's a bird.
Weird logo. Okay, are we gonna start this?
It's a bird or something. I don't know. Some type
we're gonna get into that later, aren't we, Scoob?
We can talk about that later. We'll get into that later. So I wanna start off by thanking you guys for joining me on this endeavor. Our very first. I'm nervous. My hands are
Dude,
shaking.
you have no idea how nervous I am.
I don't know why I feel so nervous right now.
I think it's because it's a new thing that we're doing, so we're just like, how's it gonna come out?
Okay, see, my thing has always been I try to wing it as much as possible, but even though this is like not super scripted, it's still a little scripted, so I feel like I'm gonna somehow mess it up, and I don't see that happening, but like that's how I feel. It's
Luna, change your grid.
My grid?
You'll do great.
On your Discord, top right.
Yo, dear.
Yeah, focus. This is focus. Why is it showing two?
What do you see?
So, Okay, so because it was mainly focused on you, if you look at it, on your top, so look at your says full screen the Discord.
It is.
Okay, so on your top right is gonna show focus is with next to it 3 dots.
It says grid now. This is focus.
That's focus.
Basically, this is what it's going to be. Whenever you guys are going to talk about your thing, I will switch to you. Like, it's your part, I will
Okay.
switch to you. When it's his part, we'll switch to him.
That's weird.
When
Mine-
it's Scooby's
mine just
part,
shows 4.
when it's Scooby's part, I'll just go back to me because nobody wants to see it in blown up Seahawks logo. I gotta say thank you to my love for gifting a sub to Grazook. I don't even know who that is, but thank you so much, my love.
Probably like a random viewer that came in and was like,
Perfect.
"Oh, we got a sub." That's happens to me a lot though. I'm not gonna deny that.
So, as you guys know, I was planning on doing this since late last year. I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different with my channel here, and who knows, maybe I'll just end up making this a separate Twitch channel. I don't know. Speaking of, why aren't we seeing Scooby's face for this? Because he doesn't want to be on camera.
What?
And that's fine. So this is what we're gonna do. We got a somewhat good show for you. Hopefully, we'll see. We had a couple of segments. We're gonna be starting off with the state of gaming. I gave these guys a couple of things to look into that they'll be sharing with us. After that, we'll also be going into what are we playing? Some games that we played throughout this past month that maybe you guys missed, maybe you guys have heard of, or maybe you just haven't heard of it in a long time. So we'll be doing that, and then after that, we're gonna have a pretty good roundtable discussion about mental health in gaming and in streaming. Now, I'm already gonna go off script really quick, and for those of you that may be watching this on YouTube later on when it's not live anymore, I want you guys to give me like a 30-second intro of who you are. I'm gonna start with Mr. AFK Gaming here. Who are you, and why don't you take showers?
Oh, so we're gonna start on that now.
We are going to start off on that.
Oh, okay. So what's going on, everybody? I am Nate. I go by on Twitch and YouTube Nate's AFK. I've known Luna for about 2 years now.
About 2 years.
The craziest thing in how we met is from our friend Jamiel. If you guys seen her on his streams, I literally was gaming with her and then I met him, and here we are now.
And she's the cat lady. You guys know her
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the cat lady.
Also, it was from Uno, and the cat lady stole from her cousin. That's all I gotta say.
It was that? No, it was Monopoly.
What did I say?
Uno. Monopoly.
Uno,
Uno
shit.
was dumb too, but in Monopoly,
yeah, but we
she
still
gave
play
away
Monopoly.
all of her stuff for like $2 and a Snickers bar. It was stupid. I was upset.
Pretty much. But
Dude, it was.
I've been doing Twitch for fully focusing on Twitch for more than a year now. It's been going good. I'm glad I help with everyone. I really do appreciate it. So
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Now we got one of these two weird guys that live in the weird country of Florida. We'll start with Mr. We call him Cold Tires on Discord because his name is Heat Snipes. But go ahead and give us a little bit of an intro to yourself.
Hello, I am Heat Snipes. I've known Luna for almost a year now. I've been streaming for about 5 months. I mostly do Sea of Thieves and Forza, Motorsport, Horizon, and so forth.
Why do you think
I
you're
got
faster
Cold
than you
Tires.
really are?
I don't think I'm faster than I really am. The reason I got Cold Tires, I messed up on one single set of races, and that's how my name changed.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
honestly,
That's all it takes.
like how my name became AFK because I disappeared for every so often.
Not every so often. The majority of the time.
I know.
Most of the time, you're AFK. No problem there. All right, Scooby. Go ahead and tell us a little bit. Oh, look, it didn't even really blow it up. It's still small.
What?
But go ahead and give us a little intro to yourself.
All right, so everyone knows me as Scoob, but my real name is Anthony. I've been in this community now for around a year, almost a year. It feels like a year and a half now. It's getting closer and closer,
Felt like
but
a long time.
it's crazy, man. I found Luna just by one day. I was on GTA and I was looking for somebody to play with. You know, I don't really have a lot of people that I play with on PC
Right.
as much, and I had really gotten into GTA on PC again. So, you know, I was looking for somebody, and some reason, you know, I
Who's this
stumbled
guy?
onto his channel. I was like, hey, look at this guy, and I clicked on him, and here we are.
Like, what the hell is on his head? That's weird.
Yeah.
What is on his
Man
head?
wears a bandana.
Wait, was that before the casino or was it after the casino?
It was, I think it was right as it was.
As it was coming out?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, see, as John's saying, he was like, damn, this guy needs help. Let's go help him. And we now run a very successful, legitimate business
Yeah,
in GTA.
very legitimate.
And it's great. It works out great.
We all profit.
We all profit. We all take in the profits, exactly. So, thank you guys for introducing yourselves. That's the show. Hope you guys liked it. We'll see you here next month. I didn't know podcasts were gonna be this easy.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. No, okay. So we're gonna go into our first segment, the state of gaming, and like I said, everybody has their own thing that we're gonna talk about today. And I'm gonna hand things off to our friend Heat here, who is basically gonna sum up the 2020 gaming industry, which we all know was ravaged by COVID like everything else was, and maybe a 2021 outlook. So what do you got for us?
So the gaming industry for 2020 was up and down for the beginning of it, but it skyrocketed when we got midway into the pandemic because everybody was so bored, didn't have anything to do. So people started buying consoles, buying games.
That
There was
stimmy
more
helped a lot
streaming
of
going
people.
on.
Everybody got their stimulus and they all spent it on video
Yeah.
games.
Just to keep
Yeah.
people entertained. It was great. I mean, how do I go on? Rocket League, you know, servers got crashed because there
Oh.
were too many people.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember that.
They made it,
I
but
can't
no,
do
see,
that
that's
now.
not even because of COVID. That's just because they turned it into free to play.
Yeah. Once they chaired
And
that
then
game
they
free
had,
play, that
and
was all
then
over.
they had to bring in Fortnite.
Oh,
Worst
God.
mistake ever.
Wait,
Oh,
wait,
my.
wait, time out.
Fortnite's been out for years though.
Wait, they brought Fortnite into Rocket League?
Yeah, they
Wait,
brought
what?
Fortnite in as in a side event for a month, and then it screwed the servers over because every Fortnite player was on there because if you did the event, you got free stuff in Fortnite.
Oh, wait, okay, so what,
Ridiculous.
you know what, hang on, this is totally, I had no idea. What Fortnite stuff was in Rocket League?
They put the battle bus in there.
To drive?
Yeah.
Wow.
Terrible.
No, they did not.
Yeah, I kid
No,
you
they
not.
did not.
Hold on.
Battle bus.
Okay, let me guess. Did everybody use the battle bus
ridiculous.
just to be a goalie?
No, they used it to make shots, you know? Something that's built like it turns as bad as a bus, obviously.
Right.
Do I need to look this
It's
up?
so weight heavy. Every time it hits the ball, it just either goes too high or it doesn't go far enough.
That is
It's
interesting.
terrible.
But
And
it was
then
only
they
out for
had
so
a
long?
llama skin. Yeah, it was out for the whole event, which was a month or two.
Interesting. I had no idea.
They really brought it
Terrible.
I
in.
didn't either, honestly.
They only did half the bus though.
Like, so I
it
knew
looks like the.
I knew that they were putting like I mean I knew they made it free to play, and I know it kind of
Yeah.
like I know a lot of people said it kind of like ruined the game for them, and I haven't played it since then, to be honest. But that's interesting. They put Fortnite in.
Terrible.
Fortnite's just bleeding in
And
anything.
then
Yeah.
in the
yeah, they
Fortnite
brought in
side,
Marvel
right?
Uh-huh.
The
in
worst
Disney.
part for Fortnite is they decided to. So you know how Rocket League has their very original theme songs when you're like in menu or
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, they have their
Okay.
Yeah,
custom
they
soundtrack.
stole one of the songs as a Fortnite song that you can play now. One of the original ones.
Which one?
No, they did not.
Which one?
Yes, they did.
Which one?
If
If it's breathing underwater, I will riot.
Yeah. I think that's it.
No,
to be
it
honest.
was not.
Wow.
It might be. I mean, I'd have to check.
Breathing underwater.
Looking it up. Looking it up.
Sure.
I'm on YouTube right now. I'm on YouTube right now.
No, it was not. Let me see.
I'm googling over here.
I gotta. This is the first instance of Jamie. Pull
Terrible.
that up. Sound like Joe Rogan
Yeah.
over here. Jamie, pull that up. What song did they put in there?
Fortnite, Rocket League.
They did. Are you kidding me? They took the best original
Yeah,
Wow.
Rocket
terrible.
League song and put it in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh, if you guys
Sad.
don't know what I'm talking
Very
about,
sad.
here I'll
Flip
play this.
reset? Flip
There it
reset.
is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
called-
no. Then they moved 2. Then
Oh, they took 2.
There it is.
apparently, then
This is like the greatest Rocket League song ever, and I love it so much.
OG.
That's the OG rock, dude. That's the first song I heard when the first time I booted up Rocket League.
I know, man.
Right? Same,
So many
same.
memories.
Dude, that is upsetting. Oh well.
very sad time.
What do you feel? Why do they do this? You know, and then like, there's all those memes that came out that I didn't find very funny about how they put Master Chief in Fortnite. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
all these
Sad.
kids, they see like a Halo ad and they're like, hey, that's the guy from Fortnite. It's like, you little, knock it off.
They brought in Kratos. They
Yeah,
brought in
they brought.
Batman,
I know
they brought in Marvel.
yeah,
You know-
dude, they brought.
Okay,
Oh
the
my-
Marvel thing wasn't bad because they made their own like game types on. And that was kind
I
of cool.
get it, but it's the fact that you're gonna literally bring in games and people are gonna think that I mean, Fortnite, don't get me wrong, Fortnite, I enjoyed it back then when I used to play a lot of console games, but it just died down for me. It died down for me for like what, season 3 when the lookalike of Keanu Reeves was in it.
It wasn't even that, like, I used to play it when it was OG. Nobody knew how
Yeah.
to build anything.
Bill.
And so it was just like, you would build a wall maybe to protect yourself, and then I got shot down really quick. But now it's like, that's all Fortnite is people that just, how fast
Yep.
can you build?
Build the Empire State Building as your
Yeah.
protection.
Gosh.
So realistic.
Gosh.
Something I could totally do in real life, you know.
Right, right. So let me ask you this, Heat. Personally, in gaming, how did COVID impact you with gaming?
I mean, well, of course, a lot of games were a lot more populated.
That's
It helped me out for streaming because as starting out for streaming, it helped me be able to get my viewers up more and kind of reach more audiences,
right.
which kind of helps me get started. And then I reached and ran into a lot of people throughout COVID.
Awesome.
Made a lot of friends.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
was a great
That,
thing.
that is a great thing. That's a great part of it. So, in your eyes, you know, what's the outlook for this year? What does 2021 have to look for in for gaming? What do we got?
I'm looking for some of these new games to come out
Anything in
to
particular?
really change the game a lot more. Say it again.
Anything in particular?
Motorsport 8,
Ah,
because I keep up with Motorsport a lot. Halo Infinite, which I know you're looking forward to.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nah, still like the Xbox will ever come out of.
Gears of War, man.
um,
I mean, Gears of
Um,
War, but at the same time, you know, that's like almost like every like other few years.
And that's fine. I would rather wait 5 to 6 years for a new Halo or Gears of War than play a new Call of Duty every year. Hot take! I
Yeah.
think every Call of Duty is the same as
I
the
haven't
last.
honestly, I wasn't thinking about buying Cold War, and my brother bought it for me, so I was like, okay. I haven't even touched it within a few months.
You see,
I mean,
the last
it's-
Call of Duty I would have played would have been World War II, and that was because my wife bought it for me. We were barely dating. She had no idea. I was like, I wouldn't say I'm anti Call of Duty, but I just don't go for it. But
It
then
wasn't
before
your
that, it would have been
style.
like Modern Warfare 2 or 3 was the last one I
Yeah.
played. And then somebody, I still don't know who, somebody gifted me the new Modern Warfare, and I felt like I had to play it. And I'm not
Oh.
lying, like I wasn't bad at it. I was decent at it, but I was just like, I can't. I don't know why that game makes me rage so much.
It's just the toxicity in every Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
You can never get away from it, which is hilarious.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I'm not even talking to people. It's just the people I'm playing with. I don't get it.
Hi.
I don't get it. Yeah, I don't understand why I let that.
That's what I say every time I play the game. Literally, I don't even talk, and it just
makes you angry. There's something about it,
Yes.
dude. I don't know what
Just
it is.
goes-
Honestly, okay, that brings me in. Okay, that brings me with Valorant, and I'm not gonna get into that until later.
Okay, yeah, I can't wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff I'm getting into that one. Oh my god, I can rant about that shit all day.
And so what you got anything else for us?
I think that'll be about it for me.
Okay, well,
For
we
that
will
part
we'll take that and we'll roll into to Scoob as far as what 2020 brought us, which is brand new consoles. Probably the most hyped, at the same time least hyped console launch
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
A ridiculous launch. That's all I gotta say.
Like it just like this year, like 2020 made so many things that should have been really exciting not as exciting.
Yeah.
So you have PlayStation and Microsoft releasing their new consoles, which, you know, a lot of people thought the last one was going to be the last home consoles ever, but, you know, that's never going to happen. But
never.
I felt, maybe it's because I have a PC now, I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't super hyped for this launch. But what do you got for me, Scoob? What do you spit some knowledge for us?
Well, I
Like, hold on a minute.
kind of feel like, I don't know, with Microsoft, it seems like they're not like, it's kind of hard to explain, but they don't know what they want to do. Like it seems like,
As far as like the amount of consoles they have?
well, with their subscription model also.
See, here's
wait,
the funny
oh,
thing about that. So it like you're saying, it's kind of confusing, but at the same time, it really feels like for the first time in a very, very long time that these companies that are making these consoles actually care about the gamers themselves. You know, they've always said, "Oh, we love our gamers and stuff." Like, no, you like the money we give
Didn't
you.
a big thing recently happen with Xbox? With
Yeah.
the whole
The money is very
thing?
important.
Can someone enlighten me with that?
What
The
was it?
Xbox Live Gold. They
What?
tried. What they tried doing was they're trying to push everyone to Game Pass. That's what they ultimately want. They
Right.
want to push everybody to
I have that. Yeah.
So what they were trying to do was they were gonna raise the price of gold to $120
A year.
For a year.
for I think it was $60 for 3 months or 6 months.
For 6 months, yeah. Like it was
6
basically,
months.
yeah, it was tiered simply like that.
And then if you wanted the whole year, it was $120, which is it's a dramatic change from what it used to be.
It's basically doubling it.
And a lot of people they absolutely did not like that.
I
And
seen that
that's
all
the
over
thing.
Twitter.
They switched their stance on it. They said, "Okay, we're not going to do it then." And this reminds me, and let me know if you guys remember this. So when Xbox One was going to launch, they had this idea that the console would always be online. You had to connect to the internet at least once a day, and the idea was like, they just wanted to make sure they could give you the best content at all times. But there's so many people that were like, I don't want to have to connect to the internet all the time. I don't want to be part of Xbox Live or whatever. I want to be off the grid. But the big thing that they were saying, like, this will help us do this game sharing on a wide level. And it was going to be like, you have Xbox Live Gold or whatever, and I get to pick 5 friends of mine that I'll share my library with. And they'll share theirs with me as well. So, hey, man, I'm going to buy this, so you guys don't have to buy it because I bought it.
So Steam's doing the same thing, though. If you really think about it, Steam's doing the same thing. The only problem is with Steam, if someone's like, so I do it with my brother.
Uh-huh.
I used to share an account with my brother, as some of you guys may know, and I actually got my own account recently since I moved. But it's like Steam actually did a family share, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And so the only downfall with that is when, like, say my brother goes on the games I bought under his account.
Uh-huh.
and he's going on to a different game, but he's playing online, it kicks me off.
Yeah, see, that was basically this would be like the dream that you have about not having to worry about that, and that's what Xbox was trying to do. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but
We
people
can all
already
play
still
it
do it.
at the same time, and we're all sharing it based off of one person buying it. And so the uproar that the community came out with of saying we don't want to be online all the time, Xbox said, okay, we're not going to do that. However, because we can't do that, we can't allow the game sharing thing. Because they have to monitor it. They have to make sure nothing shady is going on. And then
Yeah,
See-
but a lot of people are gonna go
See-
for the old school's game share, like how the process is, and you know how everyone knows what's the game share process on that on each console. I'm not gonna go into it. I'm not gonna say it, but everyone knows what to do.
yeah.
But the only downfall is once everything kind of switches up in the process, if you guys really know what I'm talking about,
Mhm.
that's just an issue. But out of everything else, it should be fine.
Right.
See, with the Xbox, with the whole Xbox One and it being online, it also, you know, everyone had to have internet.
Right.
And I recall one of the top guys at Xbox saying if you don't like it, to go buy an Xbox 360.
Yes.
Too bad.
And the
remember
thing that sucked was because
that.
a lot of people, and people do this all the time.
Ballsy move though. Ballsy move.
A lot of people were like, what about people that are overseas, you know, our military,
Yeah.
that they want their Xboxes and they want the new stuff, but they can't be connected. And so he didn't say it as snobby as like that, but it sounded really shitty. He was like, oh, for those that don't want a console online all the time, we have a console for you. It's the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
He didn't realize what he was saying sounded
Yeah.
really bad. It's like, whoa, dude, like you're saying
Speaking
that
of,
like
real
the
quick.
Xbox 360 is just as good as the
Like,
Xbox One.
speaking of
Look at that.
Xbox 360,
Look at that.
I got both editions of it, and I had this one sitting right next to my desk.
Is there a hard drive on
so-
top of that?
Okay, speaking. Okay, so
Yeah, well, yeah.
Where is it? Where's the hard drive?
Oh, never mind. Okay,
There's
it's
not.
on here
But
right now.
just tip it forward. We'd be able to see if there's a hard drive on top. There's
no,
not.
there isn't.
It's missing.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I add
I got
a
both
little
of
input
them,
really
so-
quick on a tangent, kind of relating to the console gaming industry that's right now?
Sure.
So everyone knows that Google recently made a console of their own called the Stadia, right? The
If you want to
streaming-
call
the
it a
streaming
console.
If
Yeah.
you want to call it a console, but technically goes into the gaming. So
Right.
I want to talk about, because recently Twitch has been getting of a lot of creators, including Luna and I, a hard time with DMCA copyright strikes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a big issue that we all been having. And the thing is, what I kind of like saw on Twitter from the Stadia creative director, his position wants to have content creators pay an extra fee to stream companies' games. I was like, are you
That-
kidding me? We're gonna
That's
pay.
never gonna take off.
It's never gonna take off. But when
No.
he said that, everyone blew up. Like everyone was mad because everyone was already on the rise of the pent up aggression, irritation with the tension of the DMCA copyright strikes with the music. And also recently there was another thing going on, how in-game music was an issue too.
Yeah,
In-game music became
that-
a big issue.
It's always been an issue. That's true.
And it's like, that's a big issue. Now, once he said like how the creator should pay an extra fee to stream their developers' games, everyone lost their shit. That's all that everyone lost it. I lost it. Like I was like, are you kidding me? We're paying $60 for a game, maybe even more. It depends on what edition you get.
right.
Like pretty much technically promoting the game itself. Like if you're enjoying it, you have your opinion on it, you can let people know like, hey, you enjoy it, you can do whatever you want, you can get it, I recommend it, like all that. Like it pretty much gives them their own free promotion because they don't have to pay us, because we technically paid for it, but at the same time we're not getting paid extra for it.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty that's a dumb idea. And you know what? I sometimes I feel like people will say something ridiculous like that just to
Get a reaction.
and be like,
That's
how
what
much
I think too.
how much
but
do they really hate it? How much do the people really hate that idea? And that's a terrible idea.
That's a terrible idea, but it's the fact that coming from a actual company's creative director for that, like for gaming itself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's like over the top.
That's like
Go ahead.
That's like what happened, Scoob?
I don't understand how you get your thinking, like how somebody thinks that's a good idea and brings it to the table. It's like, hey guys, it basically, it also comes down to money. They're like,
It's
oh
all
yeah,
about
hey
money.
guys, we can find another way to, you know, get some more money from these streamers and all of that. So let's go ahead and charge them an extra fee.
Yeah, I feel like it's a quick cash grab, and that's the problem with having people in companies like this that already don't have a passion for what they're working on. So you have gaming companies being ran by people that only care about money. They don't care about the gaming community whatsoever. That's the problem. So to get back a little bit on track here, Scoob, as far as the stock goes on both PS5s and Xboxes,
Stocks.
where can I find one right now?
Man, I'm gonna have to tell you to go on eBay and type in a PS5 or an Xbox, because it honestly it's very rare.
Pretty much
you're gonna
paying
get
like
one.
a rent. You're pretty much paying like your rent or your mortgage for a new console.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because if we look at, give me a sec. If we look at the true price of both the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox,
With or without CD.
yeah, I mean, if you look at it, the PlayStation 5, the disc version, it's supposed to retail for $500.
Yep.
It's going for $1,000 on eBay.
And people are buying them
And
I don't understand why.
because they have the money to do it and they don't want to wait.
especially with
Never mind.
with people getting these stimulus checks,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, the stimmies, you know, people got a little bit extra.
It's like, I'm
disposable
sorry I
income.
decided to use my money on like getting out of debt and not getting any more in debt. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
and
just
and
That's
it's
ridiculous.
it's crazy. It seems like anything tech right now is being scalped.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And PC parts have
PC.
always been like that.
PC, no, especially when data mining became a thing, graphics card went up the roof.
Mm-hmm.
They went up the roof, and once everything for data mining for Bitcoin stopped, and all the prices dropped, and a lot of people have like so many GPUs left, they didn't know what to do with them. That people that aren't in the gaming.
Well, it's even like, it's still not that good. Like there's like, I still think GPUs are highly overpriced. Still.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
How much are they
Forever
usually?
going to be overpriced.
It
'Cause,
depends
like,
on what you want. They could be as cheap as like $200-300 bucks,
Like
but
what?
they can be as expensive as
A
2 or
30
3 grand.
Yeah, the recent GT RTX came out was
3090?
the 3090, 3080.
1500.
Easy. And but same thing.
Yeah.
People are buying them and they're flipping them for like
Scalping,
2
And
3 grand.
yeah, so now it with the RTX 3090, it's supposed to retail for 1500, but it's going for 2000, and
Yep.
I thought I
that's
was gonna go for like 8.
and it honestly it changes
It's
with
because
how the
PC
market is,
It's because PC gaming is becoming more of a big thing right now.
Yep.
and that's like tying into the Xboxes where people are scalping them also, and now you know the Series X, it's going for like $1,000,
Yeah.
and even the Series S, you know, the Series S is supposed to be a $300 console,
Yep.
and it's going for almost like $500. Like that's
So
that's the price.
You're gonna
of,
pay-
So you're saying my console that I have, my Xbox Series S, the white skinny slim console
Yeah.
I have right here is going for $500. Right
You
now.
have
yeah,
one?
that's the street price.
I have one because the S one is the white one, right? With or without.
Yeah,
the,
it looks like a
CD
speaker.
thing. Yeah, so I have that. I have that right here because recently, my last relationship I was in, I bought an Xbox to have one there because I was, hardcore gamer, So I had one there and had one at home because I was always at my girlfriend's house at the time.
You have the new Xbox Series S?
I thought it was Xbox Series X.
There's 2 of them. There's Series... Oh, you have the Xbox One S.
Yeah,
Yes.
you had the One S.
I was
We're
like,
talking.
wait a minute.
I thought-
why did we not know
wait.
you had a next-gen console?
I'm like, I don't have it. I was like, I did not spend that much money on a next gen console because I got into PC because
No,
Unless
there's 2 new Xbox consoles. Only one of them is like their premium one, which is the Series X, and then they have a watered down version of it. That, to be honest,
okay.
I would say 75% of gamers would be able to get the Series S and be completely fine.
Yeah.
But
Unless
everybody
a
wants
lot
the
of
new
people
one.
don't like digital. If you really think about it, a lot of people don't like digital. They don't
Lo-
like the digital
but-
because they want to get a hard copy. Because once, like, so what was I say? Your internet goes out.
Right.
You have to have internet to get into your game.
I think not anymore.
They used to though. Last time
it's-
I checked, they used to still. So I don't
It's
know about
also,
more.
if you look at it, like a lot of people say they hate digital games, but if you look at the sales, a lot of games are getting sold digitally.
digital,
Like,
Yeah, and to be
yeah.
perfectly honest, I'm on the train of getting just digital games now. There's only one point, the last time I wanted to
Same.
buy a game on disc, and I'll show you. I had to do it. This bad boy right here. Okay, I had to do it. All right.
yeah.
'Cause
My
I'm
boy,
home.
he is on the cover of Madden. Of course, I had to get one of these. Queen got this for me. I had to have it. That's my boy. So, but other than that,
Yeah.
I don't care for this.
That's-
Do y'all believe in the Madden curse?
He broke it. No curse there. He won the Super Bowl.
I mean,
Is
if
it-
we look at historically, there is a curse. I'm
There
just
is
gonna.
a-
There's
I
a
wouldn't
curse.
say a curse, but more often than not, something does go wrong. More often than not, but not so much more often than not. So,
But
you tell me this, Scooby. You are the only person of us that has something from the next generation. You have a PS5. What have you played on it
What is
so
that?
far?
oh man, I've mainly been playing Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Demon Souls.
Okay, so how's Demon Souls? Because I want to know.
Well, I've played a little good bit of it, and honestly, man, it gets to me. It's a game you've got to really learn. You've got to master.
played
You
Dark
got to
Souls?
learn. A little here and there, but
That's
honestly,
why.
I'm honestly kind of new to this. You know, I've seen tons of people play the Dark Souls games, and you know, I've wanted to dabble in it, but with this entry, they went back and did a full remake, Blue Point.
Oh, so this is a
And
remake?
Honestly, yeah, it's a remake
Oh, okay.
of the PS3 PS3 version.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was before Dark Souls. That was like the game before Dark Souls.
Yeah, it was like the very beginning.
You know what? That's why it sounded so familiar. I knew it was based off of Dark Souls, but I felt like I'd heard Demon Souls already. Okay. Makes sense now. That makes sense.
Yeah,
So if you had to
Yeah.
give a rating for Spider-Man Miles Morales, what would you give it? I'm curious.
I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Okay.
You know,
Okay, continue, because I'll ask you a question about it in a minute.
I mean, I thought it was a solid game for the amount of time, like the price, and I just felt it was a solid game. You know, I enjoyed my time playing through it.
Right.
I got the platinum for it, so it was just an all-around enjoyable experience for me. I loved the music. It looked amazing, and also being given the choice between if you want performance or if you want graphics. It's playing Spider-Man at 60 FPS, man. It's just so fluid and
I can
it's
imagine.
amazing.
Do you feel like seeing
Spider-Man-
how Spider-Man is right now on console, does that give you a sense of hope for what we might see in a future Grand Theft Auto? As far as how realistic they can make the city look? I mean, because GTA
Yeah.
5 Online already looks amazing, but there's a lot of open space, but I
Yeah.
know that takes place in New York, which is super, like, much bigger, first of all.
Yeah,
And
it's
Much tighter.
it,
Skyscrapers galore. Like, that's hard to
yeah,
make.
and it's
Pretty
like if you look at the Spider-Man, the first game on PS4,
Uh-huh.
and then you look at Miles Morales, you know, you notice the extra power that the console is able to produce. You know, it's
Right.
a lot more dense. The environment is a lot more dense, a lot more people, a lot more cars compared to the, you know, the PS4 version
Right.
with, you know, the first entry.
And you know what's funny? Like, if you go back and you look at some of the original launch titles from like PS4, or even though, you know, let's go back, PS3 and Xbox 360, and then you look at like some of the latest titles that they had, and you see what the difference is in graphics. Like, that's like one of those things that in the beginning, the developers kind of know how to utilize the hardware, but it's not until like a year or two down the road that you start to see some really impressive graphics for these consoles. So if you're saying it looks really, really good, you can probably imagine how well it's going to look like in another year or so.
Yeah,
I know.
Back in the PS4 when the original Spider-Man 1 came out, I loved that game.
Same.
I enjoyed it and it looked beautiful. And the way how they made it up in the PS5, it looks better. But there's also a issue going on with that game itself because they originally changed the character from the PS4 version into pretty much a whole different character of Peter Parker.
So is this not? So it's not a continuation of the PS4 one?
No,
it is. But when they upgraded, because when they brought it into the next console, they upgraded the graphics, of course.
Right.
But they also changed what Peter Parker looks like.
Oh.
They changed. Yeah, they changed. The reasoning was, I read that they wanted to better match the voice actors' facial like features. Like they wanted somebody that was very similar to the voice actor, so facial movements, you know, how the voice comes out, it looks natural. It doesn't look like they're you know, fixing it up to make the voice actor have, you know, just making it look more realistic.
Right.
And people had an issue because they became fond of the original actor, the original face, and people didn't like that.
People don't like their memories being messed with.
Yeah, they don't like change. Nobody likes change.
Like what was it? The Mandela effect with a lot of stuff? You think of one thing and it's oh my god.
Is it the Berenstain Bears? No, it's the Berenstain Bears. The whole time you were wrong.
I always said
my question for you for Scoop. So for Spider-Man Miles Morales, it was an actual full game, or was it like towards like a little bit more of a DLC type version?
I thought, you know, people made fun of it because it was a shorter game. I thought it was a solid game. Like it didn't pad anything, you know what I mean? Like it didn't make you do a lot of things just to extend it. It told the story and it finished, you know? Okay.
So how many hours per se you put in that game?
I'd probably say 8 to 10, probably somewhere around there. That's what I guess, you know, it's a solid game, you know, a solid experience. I wasn't expecting, you know, like some like 50-hour, you know, I wasn't expecting some big game. It was a
Elder
game.
Scrolls, the original, the actual last Spider-Man game, that was a good couple hours itself.
Elder Scrolls 6 Spider-Man. It's coming out.
Or Kingdom Hearts. No. Kingdom Hearts 3 Spider-Man, because Kingdom Hearts 3 itself is a whole different issue, and that like I don't even.
I remember hearing all the backlash on that game.
That game was
because
like person as a diehard Kingdom Hearts fan. Yeah.
This game, it's not meant to be a. That's why they weren't charging full price for it either. It was $40.
Oh,
it was $40.
Okay, that makes sense.
It was $40.
So was this more like a? Would you say this was just like a remastered version of the first one?
No, well, this game, it's its own standalone thing.
Okay,
but it's meant to like bridge the gap between after the, you know, with Spider-Man 2018, and now the next, because after this one is going to be, you know, Spider-Man 2, you know, the continuation of the 2018 game.
Ah, okay.
But like they're pulling what they do in the Marvel comics, like with Miles, is a whole different universe. That's what they did in that one.
I see.
Because where Miles Morales comes in is a whole different universe where actually Spider-Man dies Peter Parker actually dies in that universe, and Miles Morales takes over it.
Spoiler alert!
You're muted. You're muted.
I'm muted?
You were muted for a second. You looks like you're about to talk.
I mean, I was smiling.
No, like, you're about to talk. I was like, dude, you're muted. I was like, my bad. It looks like you were talking.
I said spoiler alert. Okay, so
Yeah.
Scoop, so what do we got coming to us for the new generation this year, and why is Halo the best one?
Well, we will see if Halo will be the best one when it actually comes out. And we
That's
see
one of
Okay,
those.
okay,
That's one of those things about Microsoft. Cares about their people. We were upset. They said, "Fine. You know what? You're right. We're gonna fix it. We're not gonna release a trash game like Cyberpunk, which we'll get into right now." But they wanted to make sure it was ready to go, and it wasn't
Sounds
ready.
like a lot of glitches to me.
They took the turkey out. They're like, "Look at guys," and everybody's like, "It's not ready." Like, okay, back in the oven. That's the way it's working.
But like, what I don't understand is if you knew, like, anybody that looked at that demo they provided knew that game was not what it should not look like how it looks.
Well,
you know what I mean?
They said that's what they said, and they told the people, "We apologize. This video that we're showing you wasn't supposed to be like, here's the game and what's gonna look like. We should have been more open about what this was." Because
it's so weird seeing it as an open world, as an open world type game.
People thought it was like they were showing us what the game looks like, and they were saying, no. This is not what it's going to look like. We do have to polish more. By that time, though, it was too late. The damage was done. And so for themselves of what they already had done, they went back to look at it because we didn't see exactly where the game was. They just showed us that video, which is just like, a development stage. This is what we're doing. But everybody thought that was a finished product. So they went back and looked at what they had, and they said, no, let's go back and fix it then, because we can do more. And based on what everybody was saying, delay it. Don't release it like that. They said, okay, if they're okay with it, we're going to delay it, and we're going to fix everything that we can.
I honestly wish they did this.
Yeah,
I wish people would have said the same, like the fans would have said for Cyberpunk. I'm going to get into that in a minute, but
yeah, we'll talk about that.
I really wish
Absolutely.
they would have done that for that game.
See, but my thing is, I don't know. The whole Xbox's whole marketing thing, all their ads and all that were all Master Chief related. They had Master Chief on the box, they had Master Chief in Taco Bell things, and all that. And I don't know if they need to be more involved in their studios. They need to check in more or something, because something like this, it should not happen with this big of an IP of Microsoft, Microsoft. This should not happen. They should be checking in more with their studios and making sure something like this does not ever happen again.
And that's the good thing that I have feeling about, because they are scooping up studios now, left and right. They're getting all these studios to make Xbox exclusive and PC exclusive stuff, which gives me a warm fuzzy feeling inside.
That's why I'm speaking of the Xbox, going to Xbox Game Pass. They just recently released the everyone knows that the last couple months during the pandemic, I was hella into Yakuza.
Yes,
everyone knows that.
Yes.
And they actually brought out From Zero to Kiwami 2. They actually brought out the remastered versions recently for the rest of the four games that they recently have out before 6. Yeah, they
probably
brought those out.
Probably give it a whirl.
So would you recommend? Because I've never really dabbled in any of the Yakuza games,
Okay, so Yakuza games they're really fun. Don't get me wrong, they're really, really fun. It's like a whole new thing. It's like a little bit of GTA, but no driving or shooting. You're pretty much fighting with your hands, and you may pick up weapons here and there, but there's durability on them, which is fine. Also, the other thing is most of the game base on the game itself is Japanese, and they have English subtitles. If you're like how anime fans love reading their subs, they wouldn't mind doing this. But if you are not an anime fan and don't understand it, and read subs and you don't like it, just give it a try because this game's a really good game just to start with in general.
Yeah, because I know Scooby, you're really into single player games a lot.
Yeah.
Basically,
'Cause
the only
Zero-
multiplayer game I see you playing is GTA Online, which GTA itself is a single player game.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of more grown to, because when I was growing up, I used to be heavy into Call of Duty.
Right.
You
I
know,
think everybody
like
was.
Black Ops.
I never,
Black
honestly,
Ops
I never
1.
was into I never was heavy into Call of Duty. I never really was. I was more into like the solo like RPG games like Yakuza itself or Kingdom Hearts or
Right.
Spider-Man, like any of those type of games. I was solely into those and fighting games.
I was super into Call of Duty. I was super into Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. Like, I played it all the time because at that point, even I was a little bit shot out on how much Halo I was playing. And so I would start with Call of Duty and then eventually Rage and then go back to Halo because Halo never makes me mad, ever. But I ended up going back to Halo, and every time the new Call of Duty would come out and I would start playing it, and I would be like, "Ooh, this game is this the Halo killer?" And they even back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember, whenever like the new Call of Duties are coming out, they would say, "This is the Halo killer, the Halo killer," and then eventually it's like Halo couldn't compete anymore because they weren't making one every year. Otherwise, you'd be like on Halo 17 right now.
Halo, like back then when Halo was a huge thing before Halo 5 just pretty much died down back in 2015. They would make games like what, every other 3 years?
Halo was about every 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, so 3 to 4. Like people have so much things they can do in Halo that they could bring in the multiplayer, solos, because they have so much other difficulties. They have the skulls you can look up for, the Easter eggs in that game. Like Halo has a good following going. It's just as of now, it's to me Halo, like the following is dying out, but forever hardcore Halo fans is gonna forever be on a spot for the new Halo.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna deny that.
even those people that used to play Halo, like I know Heat plays Halo a little bit too, but even though you don't play it right now, you know when the new one comes out, you're gonna play it.
Yeah, of
Yes,
course,
I
of
will.
course. A lot of people are going to be playing it.
So I know
playing it myself.
Once that new one comes out, I know I got Heat joining me. I know I got Rune joining me. If anybody else wants to join, please fill out an application and maybe you'll get to play with me.
I'll try it.
Fill out an application, dude. We're going to have a full squad going.
Maybe you could
Put
join.
you on a waiting list.
I'll put you on the waiting list to join us.
We gotta make sure the mods approve and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Scoob, as far as I won't tease you too much about Xbox because I know you're not looking forward to anything there. But for PlayStation titles coming out this year, what are you looking forward to the most?
The new God of War. That is the game.
What did you get the last one? What did you think of the last one?
I loved it, man. I'm so looking forward to the next one.
Really good job. Honestly, a lot of people know me. I haven't really, because when the new games come out, like the popular ones, everyone comes in at once.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't really beaten God of War yet. I just recently beat Last of Us 2. I recently beat that a month and a half ago.
Oh.
And I haven't even beat Ghost of Tsushima yet. And I'm just like, dude, but those games are amazing. Like, I'm giving hands down. I feel like I prefer more of a Sony era because Sony's coming out with more games that are.
They have
new.
really good exclusives right now.
They have really good exclusives
Right
I'm
now.
not gonna deny
They
that.
do.
Right now,
And
yeah, 'cause
they always have had good exclusives. And that's what I was talking about Microsoft. They're grabbing a lot of developers right now. They're going to have some good stuff coming out.
They're
Maybe
gonna
not
have
right
good
now. Maybe
exclusives.
not this year, but it's happening.
It's because the
Give
reason
some
why console
competition.
wars are
Exactly.
going for console wars. PC out of this because we pretty much get almost everything, everything from both sides. We're not gonna deny that we get everything from
That's
both
the
sides.
in between.
That's the in between, but from between Xbox and Sony. So if you really think about it, Sony's been coming out with more exclusives, better than Xbox, because Xbox is slowly progresses them, but once they come out, they're good. Like
That's true.
Gears of War. Gears of War came out, was a fantastic game. Halo, good game. I don't know about 5, but I mean it was a good game in general.
Halo 5 multiplayer was a lot better than Halo 4's multiplayer.
The story was.
What do you need? Wataki? Look at that. That's how we roll in this house.
What the hell?
Must be nice. It must be nice being able to eat them. Must be nice. Must be nice.
But
I don't even.
I
need
felt
those.
like Halo 4's multiplayer was an improved. Okay, we have to back
it
up a
just
little bit.
improves
even then.
every time it releases, pretty much.
Halo Reach's multiplayer was so different from what we have always known, and it pissed a lot of people off. It was so different. They changed some of the things that were super
Popular.
not popular. They changed the things that were really controversial, like the armor lock abilities and stuff like that. They changed that in Halo 4. And when they did that, okay, it's a little bit better, but still not great. And then when Halo 5 came out, much more polished, and they added a lot of different things like Warzone, and I actually really enjoyed Halo 5's multiplayer. And that is the number one reason I am upset that my Xbox is dead. Sad
Yeah,
face.
sadly, what was it last year? Your
Rest in
Xbox
peace.
pretty much just took a dump on you, and just
Sad
never
face,
came
man.
back
It
to
was
life.
a sad day for everybody.
Rest in peace. You will be
R.I.P.,
missed.
You will be missed. Exactly.
How
Dude,
many
like,
times you sent it to them? How many times you sent it to Microsoft?
I've sent it once, and now it's already out of its warranty period, which sucks. I didn't realize it was
See-
backwards, and I don't think I can.
But in regards to more the PlayStation, what I'm looking forward to is also, this year is a pretty big hitter with PlayStation exclusives. I mean,
It is. It is.
I'm still, I'm really looking forward to the new Gran Turismo game.
Oh,
you
that
know,
game's- that game's
it's-
amazing.
It's been a while since there's been another Gran
Gran
Turismo
Because the last
game,
one
so-
was, I believe, GT Sport, which I know a lot of the
Yeah.
hardcore people didn't like.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not a fully fledged Gran Turismo game, so I'm really looking forward to that game and the new Ratchet and Clank
Ratchet and
game.
Clank, yes. Ratchet
Yeah.
and Clank. God
That
of
What is
War
that about?
coming.
The game looks
Ragnarok.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's a continuation. It's a Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and you're going through like different dimensions, and it's crazy, and it's kind of like this game wouldn't be possible without the SSD.
Have
know
you
what I
guys
mean?
tried to do Crash Bandicoot yet?
No.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
I
want
have.
to.
No.
I can't.
I have.
I want to.
I
I
can't
want to.
either.
I can't do
Once
it.
you're
I
in-
don't
my
have a
brother-
console.
I love Crash Bandicoot.
I mean,
for years.
you could
and-
borrow mine. I'll ship it over there.
Maybe I will. This console, whatever it was.
Or you come down here to Florida. You
No,
know?
I don't want to go to Florida ever.
No, hell no. I'm not even going. I'm not touching Florida with a 10-foot pole. even
Hey,
though I'm
Alright, Dad, come on.
We're about to get into a fight, so I'm gonna
Hey,
move this
boy.
along a little bit.
Okay.
Scoop,
but,
thank you for sharing that with us. We're gonna go and talk about the biggest fuck up in hype game history.
All right.
We're gonna talk about Cyberpunk, and Nate, you're gonna lead the charge here because you played it a lot more. And
All right.
after me starting it, I stopped because I knew eventually it will get fixed, and I don't want to play through the entire game on a messed up game only to have to come back to
Same.
play it later. So
I understand where you're coming from, but I like the experience on that game, even with the glitches on it. I enjoy it because you get content out of it, dude. Once you play it live, you get content out of it. You get fucking pissed
true,
off,
but
you
not
get surprised, and
everybody
it's funny, it's
wants.
funny.
Not everybody wants that. People want to
Yeah.
play the game.
I get it.
to
I get it.
experience
That's
the game.
that's the streamer / content creator that comes out of me.
Right.
Even though I'm a fucking slacker on that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna deny that, but, I mean,
Thank you,
but
John.
yeah, that game is good. In my point of view, is good, but I wish they would have pushed that back more.
So
I
I
really
know,
wish
I know for us PC gamers that have played it, it's not that bad.
That's why I'm saying it's not that bad.
But-
let me. Okay, so
This is the new Crisis. Okay.
it is.
It is very
So-
hard to run on even a really good system. I'm not saying hard to run, but like, it shouldn't be this demanding. It looks great, don't get me wrong, but it's just weird. Like, it didn't make sense to me why. performs
how
the
they
way it does.
released it on that, it's because they did it really weird. So okay, so do you guys want to talk before the release? So
mainly I want to talk about how bad the launch was.
Okay, so let's start off from the beginning itself.
Okay.
Then. So Cyberpunk has been originally a tabletop game RPG.
Right, I remember that.
So once they announced in 2012 this is going to be actually a video game, everyone was hyped. Old school Cyberpunk fans hyped as hell.
Right.
Everyone was hella into it. And everyone's seen like a little bit of how the game looked, and it looked fine. But once they pushed it back a lot since 2012. Since 2012, they kept pushing it back after they released the title screen of it, the title game. But when around the time comes when they're getting ready to release the actual game, they kept pushing it back for years.
Right.
And recently, when they officially did, I think in 2018, they released a release date. They did a release date for it, and once the time started coming around that time, they kept pushing it back. The reason why is because they kept having bugs. As all of us may know, the reason why is because the bugs in the game and all this stuff. And during that time, during around 2020 came, they officially I think it was around April. They said that's the actual release date was coming. And it was pushed back till November, and then pushed back till last month. The last month in December.
Right.
So the reason why they started, in my point of view, the reason why they started actually released it back in 2020 for December is because so much of the pushbacks made people very upset and very angry. The point that they started sending developers death threats, and they didn't want to keep doing that.
I can't imagine, dude.
I can't. It's ridiculous how in my eyes, I feel like that's a big disappointment for a lot of the fan followings that people were willing enough to be patient for it.
See, these are the fans that think that they're the true fans, but they're not. They're the worst kind of fans.
Yes, that's the reason. And that's why I was saying I really wish they would have pushed back and how the fans would have reacted, how they did to Halo.
Right, exactly. But no, don't get me wrong.
I really want.
He told me how upset he was. He was sending death threats to Microsoft because of how bad it looked.
Who, me?
No, Heat did.
Oh.
He showed me the letters.
You're gonna throw me into the bus and say that I did that?
He showed me the letters of how upset he was that it was delayed and how bad it looked.
Where's the proof?
I'll get it. Don't worry. I'll work on that.
Okay, so that's before. So that's before the game was even released.
Right.
That's before what's going on. So once they officially pushed it back from November to December for another month, okay, fine, that's fine. But once the game release date was, so we're gonna go into the consoles first before we start going for more of the leniency on the PC version. So console, day one, like first hour of 9 o'clock on Pacific, 12 o'clock in East. The consoles came out. The console came out for the game, or game came out for the console.
The consoles.
One, the graphics look like hell. Graphics looks like crap.
Oh man, if you had an OG day one Xbox One and you tried to run that game, oh my god,
that game,
it looked like claymation.
You're gonna have issues if you had the day one PS4, the day one Xbox One. You're gonna have a lot of issues. You had a lot of issues. Don't lie that you didn't, but you did.
We saw the videos. Did. That was
graphics.
insane.
Graphics were bad.
We've seen proof.
It looks terrible.
There's a lot of bad glitches and rendering issues from there. Was completely horrible.
We're talking penises coming through clothes.
No,
call me a liar. I'm not lying. That happened.
They did do that. I remember that.
That did happen.
That was funny. But
you gotta question the rating there.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
And honestly, a lot of crashes happened in that game, especially with the saves and loads on that game. There was a lot of crashes in consoles.
Yep.
That game got so much backlash in the console version that Sony literally had to take it off the market in their PlayStation store.
They took
That's
it. They delisted it.
Came out,
and then they issued refunds, right?
Yeah. CD Projekt Red, the developers of the company, was getting so much heat for it. They actually started releasing refunds. They started releasing refunds for the game, and I think it's sad because I feel like that game has so much potential.
Absolutely.
If that game would have released later in 2021, that game would have been one of the top games that came out for the year.
And see, me knowing, okay, so like I said, I haven't played it since maybe like 2-3 weeks after it came out, because at that point I was just like, I know what this game can be. I totally would rather wait to play it later. So then if they were going to delay it again, obviously hindsight's 2020, I wouldn't have known I would have felt this way, but after the initial shock of it being delayed again, I would have been just fine with it.
Honestly, I would have been too. Like that's the thing that that was a big issue. And I mean, okay, so we're gonna go in the PC perspective, PC wise. There wasn't as much issues as console had, but it did have its issues on its own. Because so for PC, a lot of people don't know when people go for gaming PCs, there's two different CPUs that we do. The processors that we have. There is an Intel and there's an AMD.
Right.
That game was more focused on Intel, so all those AMD users that like me and Luna had issues playing it because there was a coding on there that didn't really run well with it. So we had to go in.
Let me speak on that really, really quick. So basically, the main issue of that is the fact that AMD's Ryzen processors, they have multi-threading, and Intel doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So if Intel has a 6-core processor, it has 6 threads, or an 8-core processor, it has 8 threads. But what Ryzen does, they have a 6-core processor with 12 threads. So it's like you got more to do, but we have that power to use, and the game when it came out, it didn't originally let us use it, which is really dumb.
Because we literally had to go in the file for the game because people started coming out with a recoding for it because you had to change.
Yeah, you had people fixing it themselves.
Yeah, like that's one of the big issues that came out for PC. And I mean, there was a couple bugs here and there, like a lot of bugs and day ones. So, okay, so I want to get into this part. People who got it on Steam, who bought the game on Steam for PC, the day one update took myself 3 hours to come in because to the point that that game was so anticipated for PC, everyone was updating the game, downloading the update for the game.
Right.
And it crashed Steam. It literally crashed Steam, and to the point that I feel like Steam is like still kind of like fixing that issue.
Right.
So preparing.
Like they were
like
prepared
that's the
for
crazy
how
thing,
big
dude.
of an
Like,
impact that game.
every time a new major title comes out, you think they're ready for that huge amount of traffic, and they never are.
They weren't.
Just like Black Friday.
Exactly. Like whenever they come out with like the new consoles and they're finally out, everybody has it, and then like Xbox Live crashes. Like, oh, we had a lot of new people. I'm like, you're telling me you weren't ready for this? Like, hello? Like, you've been making these consoles forever and you weren't ready? Like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, because what happened was, I think the reason why they pushed it back more is because new gen consoles were coming. New gen consoles were coming in, and they want to make the game perfect to similarity to the old consoles and the new consoles. And I mean, yes, you're gonna have a little bit of a graphics difference in the consoles itself because it's coming from PS4 and Xbox One to a PS5 to Xbox Series.
I just think they should have kept it off last gen.
Kept it off. I mean,
I think they should have. Like, as shitty as it sounds.
Yeah, I get it. I completely understand how shitty. I mean, I get it. I kind of agree with you.
Because look how it looked on them.
The reason. Yeah, and I get it. I completely understand. But it feels like since that game was so anticipated, it was promised to come into the old gen, to the recent gen, to the new ones. They pushed it because they want to make it better for the new gen, and the reason why they pushed it because they wanted to do that. And I get it. And they're trying to make it a little bit more pretty for the PS4 and the Xbox version to make it similar to the new gen.
Right.
But since people got really upset that they kept pushing it, they just released how it was.
I don't know, man.
I know.
Like there's. Okay,
But you played it too, right?
Yeah. No, I feel like a lot of it, the blame has to go to upper management.
Yeah.
I agree with that one too.
They kept on pushing them to release it, and you know, and they lie, and this whole thing's a mess, man. This whole launch
it could go either sides. It could go from the fans sending death threats to developers. Management was pushing the game so much because it get pushed back for so long. Like it could be both problems. It could be both problems to the fact that they were getting bad publicity for the game getting pushed so much. They're like, you know what, we're gonna rush this game and push it out.
Right.
Because CD Projekt Red could pull out so many beautiful games like The Witcher. The Witcher 3 came out a really good game. The Witcher came out a beautiful game. I mean, there's like any other game that comes out game comes out. There's gonna be glitches here and there, but they picked it up, made it beautiful.
I just feel like, man,
like the whole thing is just a big mess. So
it's like, imagine this, like they were in a position to win. They were in a position to succeed. It's like being on the 2-yard line and you have an unstoppable running back. You could have handed it off.
All right.
Handed it off,
Settle down there.
but then you end up throwing an interception. You know?
We're gonna have to be close on this one.
So we're not gonna get into that part just yet. But okay. So recently in January 22nd, 2021, Cyberpunk recently did a big update for patch 1.1.
Right.
So the patch, I don't know, I sent you guys the link on it if you guys want to look over it with me if you guys want.
Where did you send it at?
In the Discord, in the planning one.
Right, let me look.
I can't pull that up at the moment.
So
And the thing I look at, and you know, they all said that the base consoles, you know, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, they were like, it actually runs surprisingly well, when in all actuality they knew that the game was in a terrible, especially the base ones, you know, it was in a terrible state. But they chose to lie and tell everyone that, hey, you know, it actually runs surprisingly well on it. And
so speaking of issues on its own, I kind of want to go stop back because it just popped in my head a little bit. Go back into the new gen consoles itself, because I know when the Xbox came out and the PS5. So PS5 wasn't really getting that much backlash, but I know Xbox was. Because there was like a lot of issues itself for the Xbox, the new Xbox that came. There was a fake one. There was a fake story saying that the Xbox was smoky, but people were being dumb enough to vape inside the fan and have it come out on top. That was ridiculous.
Yes.
That was dumb.
I remember that.
I remember that one. But another thing was one of the big issues I had when people got the disc version of the Xbox. You couldn't fit any disc in it, like the Xbox One games. You couldn't fit them.
Really?
This is why I don't have a disc console.
That's one of
anymore.
the reasons what Xbox was getting with. I don't know if that's an actual true statement, but I seen a lot of people getting really upset about it, and that was one of the backlashes they got. And I guess like they're getting some other issues with it itself, but that was ridiculous.
That is kind of weird. I did not hear about that.
I know. Yeah,
I got the all digital console.
But
that's the way to go.
Anyways, back into the Cyberpunk patch release. So what they recently released for it was so in general for consoles and PC itself, they did a stability patch for memory usage to improve more for the game, for in-game videos, and they fixed some of the crashes, and they fixed like the open world missions itself a little bit. They fixed all that, like they fixed here and there like certain missions, and because also myself before the patch, I was having issues on, because I've been playing that game since it came out.
Right.
I didn't stop. I'm slowly playing
and
it.
I'm happy that you chose to stick with it, because like I knew like you'd be the perfect person to ask about it, because you've been playing it since it came out.
Storyline based for me, right? It's a good game. And there's 3 different endings. So I mean, I want to play the game. I want to experience what all the endings look like. What kind of character you want to develop in that game? Because you either be a good person, a bad person, or just something in neutral. Like who gives a damn?
Right.
So like you could do any of that. Like I enjoy it. First day so the first day patch was first game before the patch for me. I was cruising around and I sent a link in the thing to show my first day. I like literally was driving my car, and next thing you know, you just see me go up in the air glitching outside the game, got my car stuck on top of a building. I couldn't get out. That
Cracking
was
all the
ridiculous.
codes.
That was ridiculous, and it was funny, but that was ridiculous.
I had a dead body
couldn't get
talking
out.
to me. That was pretty fun.
What happened?
I had a dead body. Like I shot and killed a guy.
Oh,
It
they were
was-
talking to you?
Yeah, it was what are they called? It's like a vigilante thing. Like you go like bust up like a bad guy's little area.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. The NCPD missions.
Yeah, so I was doing those. I was doing one of those, and then I killed a guy, and then he's dead. But then, like, he's all like, "You're gonna regret that." I was like, "What? You're already dead."
You're like, wait a minute.
Wait, hold
Wait a
on.
minute.
So okay, another issue I was having is when I don't know if you guys had this issue. When you get a call while you're running around in the game, it could get stuck.
Like the game gets
It-
stuck.
No, like the call will sit there forever once you're done with dialogue, or the dialogue doesn't even start.
Really? Didn't know that
And
either.
when that happens, I had issues with mobility movement. Like I could walk. I mean, I could walk normally and jump, but I can't do my actual gaming when you're fighting. You can't really do much of it itself. Like it's really interesting. Like so one of
That
so
sounds like
I'm gonna do,
GTA.
like,
When you answer a phone call, you're just stuck walking. You can't do anything.
yeah, pretty
Most
much.
annoying thing.
So like so example, so what there's so in the game I'm just gonna say itself. In the game, you're able to upgrade your character.
Right.
This is more of an android type, cybernetic type thing. So I have the ability to double jump. Once you're in a phone call, when it's stuck, or in a phone call itself, you can't do that.
You can double jump.
Yeah, you can double jump.
What?
And there's another one saying, there's another one you go hold your jump like before you go, you can jump higher.
Interesting.
You can just hold on to it and jump higher.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, I
think
I sat the game down. You know, I played a little bit of it, but I got it on PS5 just because I wanted to.
How does it look? My
I mean-
question is for you, Scoop, since you have it. How does it look compared to the from the basic console?
I mean, it's an improve. It's a lot more playable, but it still needs work. And honestly, I don't want to play it until the next gen patch comes out, anyways.
Yeah, because
So
it's the one that you have is made for PS4, but it's on PS5, right?
Yeah, but it's boosted up, so you get the the
Boosted
power.
graphics.
And by
you
boosted,
get
you
the
mean it's boosted up.
like a higher frame rate, so you're not
Yeah.
playing it at
yeah, higher frames.
But
I
it's
think a little
supposed
bit
to be
higher
like
graphics,
it's,
but I'm not
it's
sure.
supposed to be like re-released for PS5 only, right? Like it's like you said, like upgraded version of it or whatever.
There was supposed to be a patch, but it's now getting delayed until like the later half of 2021. So, sometime this year around, probably like November or somewhere around there, the later
think it's gonna
half
be
of the
before
year.
then. I think it's gonna be sometime in spring, towards spring and
Maybe
summer.
there. I've heard varying things. when
Yeah,
it's gonna
because it's just
release.
because CD Projekt Red is such in a deep hole right now to the fact that they're actually getting sued.
Dude, like,
yeah,
At
I
this
mean,
point for them, I'm just like, you know
like-
what, dude? Like,
I
don't worry
For-
about all the other stuff. Just work on the game. Like, just
yeah, like
Just work on the
honestly,
game.
but
They-
I get it, but at the same time, it's like I feel like, fuck, I almost forgot what I was gonna say.
They honestly they need to just go dark, like how
Yeah,
No Man's Sky
Exactly.
did.
Oh yeah,
They went- They went dark, and now the game. I actually enjoy the game. You
that
know what I
game is
mean?
I
fun,
haven't
except
touched
for
the
the
game.
fact that
I
I got
haven't
too
even-
rich and didn't make it as fun anymore.
Hey,
I
we
might-
had to
I'm-
get that money.
Yeah, dude, I was thinking about restarting it completely just to try being poor for once.
but
So okay. Oh my bad. Go on, Head Scoop.
but that's what I kind of feel like they need to do. They just need to go dark, work on the game, fix it. Get that next gen patch out. Just make improvements.
Right. And I agree. Like, don't worry
Yeah, I
about what the
agree.
people are saying about it. Just put your head down and muscle through it and make it better.
Yeah, I feel like they could come. What I want to see from CD Projekt Red. I want to see them actually bring the game back alive to the point that if they end up reselling it, like I feel like if they dumb down the price a little bit and actually improve the game a little bit more, I feel like they're gonna get a good sell. Like say like what?
I can see them never changing the price of the game, but
50, at least 50.
Yeah,
a little
they're
bit.
never.
After that backlash, I feel like they should take $10 off.
I feel like I said, it was obvious you wasted, and even if it wasn't even that much, but you wasted time and resources in trying to make it for current / previous generation when you just shouldn't have. Like, you showed us these things of how it should have looked like, and even you knew it wasn't gonna run that way, wasn't gonna run that well on the old gen stuff, you know. So it's like it shouldn't even have worried about it in the first place.
I agree.
It honestly, it should have just been them working on the next gen versions and the PC version.
And that would also like kind of tie into the style of the game itself.
Like, in my opinion itself, they shouldn't even like. I mean, of course, release, because right now how everything is right now with the new consoles is really hard to get one.
Right.
They could have pushed back the game, worked on all 3 generations, worked on PC and both generations of the thing, and push it back more to make it really good. I mean, like I said, any other game that comes out, there are going to be glitches and bugs here and there.
Right.
But this game took the cake. It took the cake of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to deny that.
Yeah.
But anyways, back in the other issues I was having in the game before the big patch was so there is a thing called cyber hack. So you pretty much go into like an eye thing. You're able to hack like cameras, turrets, anything that's around the game. Right. You're able to hack them. But once you're getting out of that, sometimes it will glitch out to the point that you're not in it, but you're still in like an active state, if that makes sense.
I think I had that happen to me before.
Yeah, and you couldn't move much, right? You were slowly walking. You couldn't even jump. You couldn't even do anything. Couldn't even pull out your gun.
Right.
So you're pretty much screwed if you're in a fight. Let's put it that way. You're pretty much screwed when you're in a fight.
I don't think I got stuck in a fight. I want to say that's actually where I stopped playing it, because it was during the hotel part.
Oh, so like the big one.
While I'm trying to like do a hacking thing in there, that happened to me.
Yeah, so that's one of the big issues they did. That's what happened before the patch came out. After the patch, I haven't had that issue yet, but for the phone, what I can say is if you're on the phone, there is going to be a little latency to start the dialogue, but don't start fighting because you will get stuck.
Well, at some point,
get stuck in it.
Like I said,
I learned that myself from 2 nights ago.
At some point, I know I'm gonna get back into it. I just want to see it optimized better for PC, and then like I can't wait to get back into it because I was hyped up for this game. I really was, and then was not super disappointed, but the fact that I saw how bad it was like on consoles and in other places made it more disappointing for me.
Yeah. So okay, so let me get into the consoles for that really quick. So for PlayStation specifically, they fixed the performance optimization for the crowds in the PS4 and PS5.
Yeah,
also,
so
they fixed various crashes in that.
Yeah, see, I'm reading these patches here, and what I find funny about it is the fact that they're telling us we are bringing you the first thing of patches, right? And some of this stuff is like
should have been done.
Yeah, I mean, like how is this not?
Yeah,
and especially my issue is with the Xbox because improving memory usage for the character creation, mirror scanning, camera, remote, and menus. Like I feel like that should have been a big thing to fix. I mean, I get the ish for usage for stuff like that.
Yeah,
but that shouldn't even been a problem in the first place.
No, absolutely not. Like you don't know how to utilize the onboard memory for these things. Like what?
Yeah, there shouldn't have been a big issue for that. There really shouldn't. Like, especially like for creating a character you're not going to go back into right after you're done when you start your story. And mirrors really you're gonna like use so much usage for that. There shouldn't be a point. Especially for cyber hacking, because pretty much with the cyber hacking is the scanning, control, remote the cameras and stuff. Right. And especially the menus and stuff like that. That shouldn't have been a big usage. That shouldn't have been a big memory usage.
Right. And like I'm reading through this here, and for PC specific patches, the only thing I really see here, there's two. One of them is only about getting achievements while you're offline, and the other one is just startup crash. That's it.
Yeah, I had honestly, I had issues with that myself. I
So-
had it twice, startup crashing twice, but the other, well, I mean, because they're going for specifically for each of those, but they did fix a couple big bugs in the game, and it made it better in my perspective. But at the same time, there's still bugs that should be fixed in it without them.
Like, here's my thing. So, like, you read the main patch, and the first thing they talk about is stability, and it talks about memory usage, which, even though it says various systems within the game, I don't feel like this has anything to do with PC. I feel like it has to do more with the consoles.
Where it shows in the description, the GPU stuff like that, that's specifically for PC.
And that is
because
only for what they said, the startup crash is relating to loading cache on NVIDIA graphics cards.
Yeah, because I remember when the game came out. So in the beginning of the game, you choose 3 types of characters you want to go run by.
Right.
You can do a street kid, a nomad, and a corpo.
Right.
So I went as a street kid. So there's a certain thing in the beginning, because each beginnings of the game are different from each where you're at. So for the street kid, I was at a certain spot and I couldn't really, because I was streaming it that night. So everything was running really weird coming from streaming to the game itself.
Right.
So I had to fix it in terms of the fact that I wasn't able to use my graphic, like the streaming option of game capture.
Yep.
I had to switch it to in-game capture. And what sucks is because you could get the graphics and everything for the PC, how it could run by really good.
Yeah.
The only issue I have is because I look at stuff on my other screen while I'm playing,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to press the start button to get to it, and you will see my menu come up. That's the issue I have, but anything else is not a big deal, but it gets annoying.
Yeah. Overall, like this is a good start as far as patches go. They fixed like wacky bugs, but I feel as far as visuals of the game, they haven't really fixed a whole lot. There's a lot more stuff that I think needs to be fixed. Like, the one thing I hated, I'm looking through here just to make sure I didn't miss it, but I don't think I'm missing anything here.
So
I feel like the one thing I noticed, I'm out walking in the middle of nowhere, and it looks like cars are coming to you. They're not.
it's because you're fixing. So okay, so there is another thing that makes the performance for frames itself on PC. Fixed crowd control. That's pretty much in cars and crowds itself. You're able to fix it. You can put it in a heavy, medium, or low.
I had mine on, like, I want to say like the heavy one or higher or whatever, because I wanted a lot of people around, but like I couldn't even get I couldn't steal a car because there was never a car.
I had that issue myself. Because I think everyone has it. But I feel like they don't want to add so much crowds and where you're at is because you're gonna have a lot of bad issues with frames. You're gonna have a big issue with frames.
Here's the thing: where I was on a highway outside of town where there's no people walking around, but there were no cars. Like, it looks like there's cars that are coming towards you,
like the far end
and away from you. Nothing. It never gets to you, and it was so annoying that I had to walk that far. It was dumb. So, like,
it gets annoying, but so overall for the game, in my opinion, since I've been playing it since the game released, there's a lot of things that needs to be fixed.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not gonna sit there and sugarcoat it, saying like, oh, it's a good game. Yes, saying there's a good game, there's nothing wrong, or there's things that needs to be fixed.
There's good potential.
It has potential to grow more once the game comes out. I'm gonna go Bob Ross here.
I'm gonna go Bob Ross here. It's like when he has his canvas, right, and this thing is ready to be painted on. He always puts his thin, even coat of liquid white, right, that makes whatever you put into it pop more. I feel like what the game is right now, it's like the canvas with the liquid white and maybe you've started painting the water
Here and there, yeah,
but now
I get it.
Now we gotta add the mountains, we gotta add the light source, we gotta add the happy trees and the bushes and all that stuff.
I have a question for you, Luna, for because I know in PC they add ray tracing to the game.
Yeah.
The effect. Have you tried that yet?
I don't have a card that does ray tracing.
What's your card?
I have a Vega 64. Ray tracing is on NVIDIA.
Okay, so I had the NVIDIA RTX 2670. I have the 2070.
2070, okay.
Yeah, so I have the 2070, and I mean the ray tracing is alright. I mean, but I still get the frame issues itself. I'm not gonna deny it. Ray tracing, it will go really hard on your card.
I think honestly, I think ray tracing is just a little bit overrated right now.
That's how I feel.
It's a gimmick.
Ray
100%.
tracing is an overrated thing because the reason why they add ray tracing is because for the new cards for the 30 series, for the NVIDIA RTX 30 series.
See,
That's
they
the reason
add
why
What
they
exactly
added
is ray tracing?
They add it, but
it has to
it's
do with like reflections and the way
The lighting.
light shows through. It's a little gimmicky right now. Like, and
I
then
feel
you
like
have to
ray
hope that
tracing-
the people that are making the game are really trying to show that too. Because if you have a game that doesn't really do that, then it doesn't really matter. It doesn't.
Yeah, like okay, so you use DLSS, right? The whatever that thing does it show on that one?
I don't even know, bro.
So okay,
Maybe.
so when you go to your graphics setting, there's gonna be so ray tracing and DLSS. I have the DLSS on. I mean, it makes the game look more pretty and it makes it look good. And I'm able to run it with stream, which I'm glad because I even though I use display capture, but it is what it is.
I'm not sure.
But-
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, you should take a look at that if you want. But I wanted to see your input on ray tracing itself.
I
for that
personally
type of
think
game.
right now, like
It's
Scooby
overrated.
said,
It shouldn't be a big thing right now. Once they polish the game and get ray tracing a little bit better on it, and more towards the graphics cards, I
right.
feel like they could do a better job with it.
They could, and hopefully they
they
do.
could. It's just it's
A lot
it's
of
a
improvement.
gimmick right now, and the way I see it, it's really not worth turning it on because it kills your performance in
and
game.
especially you're gonna end up having to overclock your GPU.
Yep. And a lot of people.
And I
aren't
never touch
comfortable doing that.
overclocking. I don't feel like overclock. To me, I don't really understand overclocking, so I'm not gonna touch that subject at all. But I feel like running a normal GPU like I have now, my 2070, it runs fine.
I'm gonna use this as a way to kind of. I'm not gonna take up too much of this time here, but I'm gonna use this as a way of going into what I was gonna talk about, and that's PC gaming in 2020 as a whole. 2020 was weird, right? Like, we're forced to be home.
Oh yeah.
And it went from before parents trying to rip their kids away from these games, and now it's like everybody had
Yeah.
a console or a
Every-
PC
Yeah, like
because the parents did not want to have to watch the kids the entire time. So it's like, here, just sit on your game and do whatever you got to do, right? So
it's a 50-50 for me on that one. It's a 50-50, and it's. I mean, like Luna, you. I believe Heat and Scoob all grew up in gaming. We
yeah.
all grew up in
Yes.
gaming. No matter what, any gamer will say we grew up in gaming since we were really young. But the thing is, like, the kids these days don't go outside because technology took over them so much.
Mhm.
I used to go outside a lot and play with my friends. We used to fucking play marbles,
Yep.
go walk around the street, go play on our scooters, skateboards, go play ball, like anything. Like, we find something to do. Kids these days don't really go out there like that. But 2020, since the pandemic has everyone inside, it's a big issue for a lot of things, especially with children, in my perspective, because they're cooped up.
Right. So the thing that I'm saying here is gaming in the PC market really blew up in 2020 because all these kids were home, and the stimulus that a lot of these families got. A lot of these kids, as funny as it sounds, it's really not that. It's not really false, but a lot of kids were able to talk their way into getting a PC because they had to have one because they had to do online learning and stuff. So it's like I said, it's not fake when these kids talk their parents into getting them a somewhat entry-level gaming PC, but they actually needed it for school, at home learning and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
They kind of honestly the kids kind of like they snuck their way into like, oh, like get this one because it has like the graphics card, the CPU, and all that good stuff.
Exactly. And
But
so
I understand too, because like when I was living back in California, my little brother, when he used to stay with us every single time, he does school on my computer.
right.
He did school on my computer because Zoom was on there and everything. Because I did a couple months ago, I did the BLM community, the community stream, the charity stream. I did, but I had Zoom on there, so I didn't install it because I was interviewing people. But
Right.
anyways, back to, but he used it, and he never had an issue with it.
Yeah, so basically that happening and people like myself and other people that are super into their PCs and whatnot, a lot of people use their stimulus checks to get things for their PC. Basically, it was almost impossible to get your hands on a Logitech webcam. Those were all gone. Not just because people wanted to start streaming, but because kids had to have them for at home learning and for Zoom calls and all that stuff. That all went out the window. And then everybody wanted a graphics card. They wanted, hey, here's a $1,200. I can go get myself a graphics card. So when it finally seemed like the GPU market was starting to level out a little bit, COVID made it worse again. All you basically got is all these GPUs, people buying them up, reselling them, gouging, just like the fucking consoles now. All over again. And it was finally leveling out, but I feel COVID totally has taken a hold of the PC market, and it sucks in that sense. I'm not going to talk too much about the hardware stuff because I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier.
We could like,
but what I'm going to talk,
that's a whole other thing too.
What I'm going to talk about here is how PC stacks up with next gen consoles. So picture this for a second. Every time, and this is back, I mean, I've had friends with PCs since Xbox 360, okay? So back in those days, PC was miles ahead of the consoles that were coming out. At the time that the console was coming out, PCs were already so far ahead of what consoles could do.
Yeah.
Fast forward from that to Xbox One and PS4, when those launched, PC was still pretty far ahead, but not as much anymore. That gap closed a little bit. This generation is very different, especially when it comes to Microsoft, and even a little bit with Sony as well. But with Microsoft already focusing so much on Xbox being more of an extension / part of the whole gaming thing, like they would love for people to have both a PC and a console. That gap has gotten about this big as of right now.
Yeah.
PC is gonna eventually, it's gonna take leaps, but as of right now, that gap is very, very small as far as what the consoles can do and what PCs can do.
They honestly did a really good job with the next consoles for graphic wise, in my opinion.
And that's what I was saying was like everything that we've seen of what the new consoles do and what the graphics look like. It's very impressive for it to be looking like that at the onset because we know it's going to eventually get better.
Yeah.
Honestly,
They're gonna these companies are gonna learn how to utilize everything that's inside of that console to give the best looking game out there, and it's gonna blow people's minds.
And I feel like the reason is for that is because PC, since it has so much parts in it itself, they initially for PC games they initially gone for like what's good for the what's coming out for now.
Yeah, and these are people that are making this stuff. And think about it. Look at the size of these consoles, and it's funny how big they are compared to their predecessors. But
so you got the router and the trash can.
You have to see what we have working with here. How big these PCs
The router in the fridge.
Yeah, router in the fridge. You see what a what a PC case looks like. You have to have space in there for all this stuff to run what we're running right now. When you have these new consoles that, although they do look bigger, it's still impressive of what they're putting out in that little space.
And I feel like the reason why they're doing it, like you said, is for the technology they're putting into it now.
Exactly.
The reason why
So
it's getting so much bigger.
I honestly, I feel like it also really quick. It really helped because AMD before Ryzen came out, they weren't looking that good.
They weren't.
In terms of
Ryzen is what saved that company.
Ryzen
did a
saved
really good
them.
job, and Luna's the one that got me into AMD for my first PC build.
Ryzen is, and actually, this is one of the things I was going to talk about a little bit. Now, I'll touch on it right now, really quick. But the one thing when it comes to these two here, Ryzen, all of them can be overclocked right out of the gate, no matter which one you buy. They can all be overclocked. Some will say like, oh, like made for overclocking. Some are not made for it, but you can still do it.
But you're risking it. I'm telling you, you're risking it though.
Yeah, but they're all unlocked. You can do it though.
Mhm.
Intel only has certain ones that you can
Yep.
overclock. Now, Intel, I think it's only their i9 processors that offer it right out of the box.
Any
Yeah.
of like the K series of
think
chips.
so,
Yes, exactly. So
I think so.
the thing is with Intel,
Okay, for clocking.
for the ones that can be overclocked, you can push Intel more than you can push the Ryzen ones. But the fact of the matter is, AMD says, you want to overclock this one? Go ahead. Like, you can overclock them all. And then, like I was saying earlier, I brought this up earlier, with Ryzen, they utilize hyper-threading and multi-threading on all of their series, but Intel doesn't do that. I think only the i9 ones do multi-threading.
I think yeah, i9 became a big thing because they had multi-threading.
And so people thought it was cool, like, oh my god, 8 cores and 16 threads, but then we have the Ryzen 9, which is 12 cores and 24 threads. So it's like,
And it's
Yeah, and
also Ryzen is also a lot. It's cheaper.
It's way cheaper. Like I spent, so in total of my PC that I built back in last year actually. So let me go back to PC part picker, from including AMD to motherboard to
Gotta hear
everything
this.
itself. I spent give me a second. Gotta log in.
The only thing that
Gotta
I'll say
hear
about
these.
this, as far as I've talked to people that are super into PC gaming, and they'll always say like, PC, it's like it's the best, and they're like, it's funny to hear the hardcore PC people. They're like a little threatened by the new consoles because deep down they know that the newer consoles are getting like I said, they're closing that gap. And so the money that we put into these PCs, before it was like, oh, totally worth it. Now it's almost like it's almost worth it just to buy the console because it's looking pretty damn good. Like, wow. Okay, maybe, just maybe consoles are, and that was the reason that they were saying they thought consoles last gen would probably be the last ones, and then they're making these new ones. I think this generation so far makes the case for them to be around for quite a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, they like to come home, start up their console, and start playing games. You know what I mean?
I feel with console wise, I get it, and especially like you can watch Netflix, Hulu, any like outsource of streaming itself. You could do that. You could actually do that too, and you could just do it in the comfort in your own bed, the comfort of your couch. And I think that's why people go for consoles a little bit more too, and also because you don't sit at a desk all day doing that stuff.
Right.
Like sometimes, like I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes when I'm sitting on this chair, my butt hurts because I'm sitting here for hours.
That's
because
true.
I don't do anything. I don't do anything.
Get one of these.
I'm on my computer.
One of these right here.
I have it.
Costco, buddy.
The C cushion.
Costco.
Dude, I would honestly.
Costco. It changed my life. All right, so we're gonna move on from this. We're going to go to our next segment. I didn't think our first segment was going to take an hour and 45 minutes, but this is a learning process. This is the first episode ever. So we're going to roll into our next segment, which is called What Are We Playing? Now, I'm not talking Luna's playing Forza. Everybody knows this. That's not what I'm talking about.
Everyone.
I want to talk about games that we have tried throughout this past month, 2 months or whatever that maybe people might have missed. Maybe you played something that was older. You went back to go check something out. Maybe you tried.
We lost someone.
We lost somebody. He'll come back. Maybe we lost, just a random indie game just to try. So I'm going to kick this off really quick. I'm going to talk to you guys about my favorite Final Fantasy ever.
Sorry about that.
Hold on, you guys talk. Someone's at my door.
No problem. I got Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, and I was super happy to see this come to Game Pass on PC because Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite Final Fantasy ever. And then the one thing I was doing at the same time, I was actually playing the original on an emulator on my phone to kind of like go back and forth to see how it stacks up against the original one and how much better it was. And to be perfectly honest, the only really good thing they did was just make it look better. It's not like the game performed any better or anything like that. But there were a lot of glitches and bugs in the audio.
What kind of glitches were there?
It's mainly audio. It's really unsynced from what you're seeing happen.
I remember you saying something about that.
It was in the beginning of me playing it, and it's like you come down with the sword strike, and there's a noticeable gap in when you see it happen and when you hear it happen. So it's like, ching. It's like way after. It doesn't seem like much, but it's a lot. And it kind of bugged me because I have these vivid memories of playing this game back in the day and how it looked and how it sounded. Now, yes, they made the in-world look of it look so much better. And I'll give them that. That's great. But overall, it makes me really hope, and I don't know if they'll ever plan on doing this, I would hope that they make a remake of this the way that they did Final Fantasy VII. If they did Final Fantasy VIII Remake, I would lose my mind, and I would love to see it because Final Fantasy VII, the OG one, looked really cartoonish. And Final Fantasy VIII was so different, and all the Final Fantasies before 8 looked somewhat cartoonish. The characters looked like children, kind of like that, But Final Fantasy VIII made the characters look more realistic, actual human. Maybe that's why I liked it. I don't know. I really don't know. But the story was really, really good, and I think the main character is more relatable too because he's not, he's quiet. I mean, Cloud's like that too, but he's quiet, kind of antisocial, and you see his character development go throughout not caring about anybody but myself to I care about all these people that I'm fighting with, I'm fighting next to, I love this girl, and yada, 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 all that stuff. And
Tifa for the win.
Oh my God. And then going into the game, the only issue I've ever had with this game was how weird it got after, I want to say, disc 1. There's 4 discs in the original one. But after you get past the initial first boss fight of fighting the sorceress, they start throwing in a lot of weird stuff. Because you are the member of this mercenary force called Seed, and you go on missions to help whoever wants to pay you. You're a mercenary, you'll go fight for whatever side. But then after that, it gets weird. They introduce time travel. They introduce like a lot of weird things.
Time travel?
There's time travel. It's actually the major plot point of it, but they change it so much to where it's like there's this theory out there that the main character Squall dies at the end of disc 1. He takes these big ass ice shards right into the shoulder, and that's when things start to get weird. So that's like the main basis of that theory of him being dead the entire time, because things get really, really weird from there on out. I'm not going to get into that today because that's a whole thing on its own, but that's what I've been playing. I highly recommend Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, or play the original on your phone for free, the legal way. Emulators.
Illegal way.
So don't do anything illegal, but I would suggest playing it. It was a fun playthrough, but like I said, for some reason I just couldn't help but going back to my old phone here and just playing the original. Worth it, but I would still want to play the original I would rather see them remake Final Fantasy VIII, because I think they could do a really, really good. I think they could probably do a better job with it than 7, even though that is John's favorite game ever. 7 remake is John's favorite game.
I think he'll fight you for the death for that one.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, but wait. My question is for 7. They did a full part 1 for the remake. That's what they did. Are they gonna do the same price for the new one, or is it just gonna be like a whole DLC?
I don't know.
They're gonna do the second one is gonna be full priced. I can almost guarantee it.
I feel like that's dumb.
John,
It's
you
a
finished.
continuation.
John finished part.
He finished
Put on
the
that.
actual Final Fantasy 7 that came out.
That's what I
As
meant,
a
John. It's your favorite Final Fantasy. That's what I meant. But yeah, so we'll look into that. Hopefully, like I said, I would really hope that they would remake 8 the same way they remade 7.
That'll be good.
I can only hope.
I'll get into that.
And so to touch on that,
I have to see how they make it work.
to touch
It
on
could
that,
be down the
I
pipeline.
wanna go over my favorite games of 2020 before I pass it on to the next person here.
I gotta hear this.
Obviously you guys know I'm a big Forza player. Hello.
Hello.
Wouldn't be here without it. Obviously that's in my top games of
Right,
2020. However, if I had to pick one game that I played this that I just really, really enjoyed, and for me personally was my favorite game, I'm gonna have to go with Resident Evil. But which one? I'm gonna go Resident Evil 3.
Ooh,
But
I
Resident Evil
hard
2
disagree.
Resident Evil 3 was really, really good. It looked better than Resident Evil 2, but Resident Evil 2 had a better story and it was longer. I was upset with how short Resident Evil 3 was.
My biggest issue with RE3
Luna knows how I feel about this game. He knows.
the biggest issue I have with the RE3 remake is for me, RE2 remake was like, it was almost perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and it almost for me, it almost like improved on some of the things, but
Right.
it still had that same, you still the RE2,
Yeah.
you
Old
still
school, yeah.
you still recognized, and with the RE3 remake, it feels like to me that they cut so much content in the game.
They
Like,
really did.
Okay,
They cut out.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm gonna say about that. I get what you're saying. I'm not looking at it to see how great it was compared to the original. I'm saying me playing through it was a great experience. So if somebody was to pick that game up and play it, that never played the one before it, that is a great game. It's an amazing game.
I could agree with that.
I
But
would
it's
be
the
that
fact
person.
that like I felt like one of the other reasons why I didn't really like I kind of got upset is because as usual a game came out the regular price $60, but for a remake itself for that short of a story, they shouldn't even have it at that price. I feel like a good 45 to 50 max for that since it's a remake of its own. But the reason why they did it is for the multiplayer, and that multiplayer is garbage.
So-
It's
But
hot garbage.
I never played the multiplayer.
I feel like though it's kind of like they should have. It just seems like they cut out one of the biggest parts of the game. They cut out, like, you literally, when you're getting chased by Nemesis on that little bridge,
Yep.
you literally you get a look at the clock tower. In the original game, the clock tower was a big part of the game.
There's a whole section of the game.
Yeah, it was a whole section of a game. They just said, all right, y'all can look at it, but that's it. We're closing the book. That's it.
Go
And I
replace
like
the
how
cogs, and that's
I like
basically
how
it.
You know,
Two, you're able to go inside like something similar to a clock tower because you have to do the gears and stuff in that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly what I was saying.
there's a whole thing, like a lot of puzzles in the original that are in the clock tower. It's a huge part of the game. How could you cut out an entire big part of the game?
I
and-
agree.
And
that's got a lot of
that's
backlash for a lot of stuff.
that's not my only issue with the game either.
There is
It
so much issues
felt
we can
like
agree to. That's I don't want to take this drag out for long for that.
I know. I just want to say one more thing.
Uh-huh.
It felt like in the original you got chased by Nemesis a lot more.
Yeah,
for
Nemesis
longer.
was always lurking
He
in
was
the
there a
original
lot.
Resident Evil 3. They took that out.
In this one, I
So he
felt
was
like
the
he
biggest
wasn't.
hurt? But
He
he
wasn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't stalking you as much in this one, and then he transformed into that thing like barely. Like I felt like
Towards
in-
the end.
No, I'm talking about
In the
when
original?
he went from his original form and then he transformed into that other creature thing. He wasn't like
Oh,
walking
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I think I know what you're talking about.
it felt like they barely gave him any time as the normal form. You know what I
they
mean?
gave
Like how-
him, they put him smack dab on the front artwork of it to make it seem like he's gonna be coming after you the entire time.
he's
but
gonna be
not
chasing
really.
you. Like he's gonna be chasing you like Mr. X the entire time. But because if you look at it between the games, it was always, you know, Mr. X in the second one. You know, he was cool and all that, but he didn't chase you as much in the original
Right.
RE2. So then in RE3, they were like, all right, let's amp it up and have Nemesis chase you in different rooms and all that, and you know,
I
continuously
like that
stalk
challenge.
you.
I like that challenge when you're trying to get away from him because
But
he will come up to you really quick, but it's the fact that he was hardly even in that part.
it felt like it just felt like he wasn't even like the focus. Like
He wasn't in it as
it-
much as he should have been.
like,
the
he
focus was
shoulda-
more escaping Raccoon City. I
he
think
should
that's-
have been the big focus. They should have gave him more time in his original form, and he should have been stalking us longer. I
Right.
feel like, and
they did do good. Like I'm not gonna deny they did do good transitions of him attacking you in the remake, but I feel like they could, like you said, there could have been more. I remember there was a part when he was chasing you, and you had the I don't care. Spoiler. I don't care. This game's been out
It's
long
been
enough
out for
to
a
talk
while. Go
about it.
ahead.
So there's a burger shop, I think, or a donut shop, either or, and it rolls after you. It rolls
Yes.
after you.
Wait.
And,
Yes.
and,
somebody
so
knows that
all
one
of
too good.
all of us could say we thought that was a cutscene.
Yes.
We
Luna
all
was
can say
there.
we thought that was a cutscene.
Yes.
We can all say that's fair.
I
And you're
almost.
dead.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
just
lie. I
imagining.
almost
100% that I thought that was a cutscene. 100% they did a terrible job letting you know that was a
Hey,
cut. No, it was not a cutscene.
It's like, wait.
Stupid.
Wait, hold on.
Hey, hold on.
Bad
I
idea.
like my word. So this jumped out of subject. I like how Pete has the sneak thing right there, the cup.
I'm trying to make
Represent.
space to cover things over, okay?
Represent. That's what I'm talking
I
about.
love
But
it.
other
I
than
mean, I
that,
totally could have it sitting with this showing the entire
perfect.
time.
There you go. So other than that game, the only other game I would really want to
there we
highlight
go.
that I really appreciated from 2020 was Phasmophobia. That game
yes,
was
Phasmo-
a lot
they
of
did-
fun, so different, and at the same time easy to get burnt out on, which is exactly what happened. I mean,
I get it.
I
get it,
wanna
but
try
they
to
did a
jump
big
into
update.
it to
They did a big
use-
update. I want to get back into it.
I want to try it again.
I want to play
to
it. Sounds
see-
fun.
It's a lot of fun. I just want to
It's a
see
lot of
how
fun.
to use the newer stuff in there. But that's
I heard
that's a game I
VR is
know.
better. I'm gonna slowly, because I just recently got a vehicle. I'm gonna end up getting a VR soon, and that's one of the games I'm gonna get and try it on there. And I'll give you an update. on it.
VR is
I-
one of those things I want to get.
I wouldn't expect to just see Nate just get scared off out of nowhere. It'd be great.
I also
Gotta
feel
clip
like
that.
Imagine, like literally, just like VR. Like honestly, I feel like VR became a big stepping stone in the gaming industry right now because it wasn't as big as back then, but right now VR is coming up and it's an exciting thing just to see.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel I feel like the main issue was we always had something go wrong with our connections to each other. Like
yes,
they
yes,
fixed
connection
it.
was a big issue.
They fixed it,
Connection.
which is great. But yeah, the connection issues were terrible in the very beginning.
Yeah, when the game first came, when the game was really hyped about it, because people thought The
And-
reason why games
How
like
about
Among
Wizard?
Us and Phasmo came out so much because you have big streamers playing it with everyone. That's why the games like that.
Yeah,
Everyone
so-
did honestly, no one, the developers of Innerslot did not know Among Us will amazingly just come back from the jump they had back in 2018. That game became one of the biggest games towards the end of 2020.
So to answer your question there, you'd be in the game, you'd start off just fine, everybody's going inside, and all of a sudden somebody would just disconnect. For some reason, it was always me.
okay.
I don't know why, but somebody would
It was just
yeah,
special.
like somebody would just disconnect, and then the game continues, but you cannot jump back in. That's another
couldn't.
bad
You
thing. Like,
couldn't.
let me jump back in. Let me jump in with somebody that's already playing, but you can't. So it's like, all right, we haven't done this one yet. Come back and get me. Or if it's like, oh, just knock it out really quick. I'll wait.
Or
here.
the
So-
other issue was the loading time. When you first start the mission, it was taking forever.
the load up time was weird because some people would load in quick. Sometimes you wouldn't.
Yeah.
It was strange.
I-
I think the longest I've waited was about 20 minutes.
Damn, I wouldn't even wait
20
5
minutes?
I wouldn't
Holy
wait
crap,
5
I
minutes
would've
for
done
it.
I'd have done quit.
Well, because we weren't because we were sitting there talking because
GTA
me and my
stuff.
friends were just sitting there just talking about stuff, and then we didn't realize it was going on. We're like, oh, how's the thing? And while it was loading, he just went to go do his own thing for a second, and we realized it was been close to 20 minutes. We're just like, what the hell? We quit and came out, and the max was like 5, 10. The next one.
Insanity. So Heat,
It's like,
what
Yes.
were you playing this past
I
month or
was
so?
playing Ori and the Blind Forest,
Ah.
which
That's a good game.
I guess to summarize it, it's you start out in the storyline. They give you it clips through. There's this spirit tree that's
Right.
in the middle. There's some kind of catastrophe, a storm or something comes and hits the tree. It kills the tree.
Mhm.
You're this single spirit that's named Ori that gets knocked off of the tree, and you get thrown out in the darkness. And
Okay.
then there's a creature named Naru that comes and saves you, raises you all the way up, as if you're her own, and then she ends up dying. Which is really sad
I
because it's
remember
out of
that
nowhere.
part.
And then
Oh
you
my
have
God.
to
That part
You have
killed
to-
me, bro. Like it was so
Yeah.
sad, and then you got
That was such a
happy, and
sad
then,
part.
the mom died. I'm like,
But
Right.
then you have to make your way through the darkness and make it light. So you kind of have to bring it all the way back up from what it was before. And you fight all these creatures through the way through. And I put in a lot of hours into that game.
Do you
I'm
really-
saying
I
20 to
honestly-
30
I-
hours into that game.
Nice.
if you want, I enjoyed the game myself. I enjoyed it. I haven't beaten the game yet, but I know I will enjoy it when I'm off stream and play it. I will play it definitely. But I got all these games I need to beat. Like
Do you feel the desire now to play the new one?
the Wizard.
I want to, because I want to see how this storyline is going to lead off, because I'm almost done.
And
And
that
then
one,
once I finish this up, I got to see how the next one's going to be.
yeah, and then
Wait,
the next
which
one,
are you on right now?
he's on
I'm on Blind
Forest,
Forest.
the first one.
Oh,
The first one.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I haven't played the second one, but I've heard it is just as good as the first one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So that's
I
love
don't
that
know. There's been so many major plot points in the storyline so far. It's
And that's the
Insane.
crazy thing about games like that, because not a lot of people don't expect a lot to come out of a platformer, which is what that game is. But
yeah.
there's always a lot of stuff to be found in these games, and there's like these games can be very deep and very, very meaningful. And so I think I want to go back and play it again. To be honest, I want to
You
try it.
should.
I want
I
to go
would
back and
suggest
replay it
it.
because I haven't played it since it launched on Xbox 360. Was it 360 that it
Yeah.
originally came out on?
I believe so.
I think it was either 360 or Xbox One, but I know it was a launch title, and I played it when it originally came out, and I was like, wow, it was really, really good. I was like really surprised at how good it was. I just thought it was one of those throwaway titles that launches with the new console just for something to try, but it's like, no, that's like a legit, really good game that a lot of people should try.
Which of course made it better for me involving Ori whenever Sea of Thieves took a skin based off of that, and I took that. Once it came out for free, I had to scoop that up.
Oh, I need that now. Now I know what this is all about. Word. So for you, the games that you liked the most from 2020 that you played, what would you pick?
First off, of course, as I had just spoken of, Sea of Thieves.
Of course.
I mean, even my Discord photo
Is
my
a Sea of
character in
Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
And then of course, I'd have to put in Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Horizon 4 to be exact, and then
Forza.
Motorsport 7. Yeah, Forza in general.
Forza,
I guess
just
put in for
Forza.
that. And then I would have to say the other one which I'm still keeping up with, but I got into late, but it was very enjoyable. Is I would have to say, it's on the tip of my tongue. Well, the Long Dark.
Oh, The Long Dark. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which Scoob
Once
will
I
touch
got
on
onto
right now.
that was really good. Which, of course, I'm not gonna say much because
I know we're
Scooby's
gonna
got
hear about it from
that part
Scoob
covered.
right now.
Yeah, totally not.
That's a good lead-in, Scoob. You were playing The Long Dark. Why don't
Yeah,
you tell
man.
me about it? Because I thought about playing it, and I
I
don't know what it
really
is.
wanna know.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, man, it's a open world survival game. When you first start, I kind of compare it to kind of like honestly Project Winter a little bit, and like
Oh,
it's
okay.
not like the same format, but it's kind of like the same like survival tip things,
Right.
like because in the Long Dark, you have to stay warm, so you have to build fires, you have
Okay.
to get sticks, just to make you a fire. So I kind of see it in like the similar fashion as that, because
Right.
as you go on your journey, in these episodes, you have to, get resources, have a home, like make a little home so you can sleep and pass the time, and yeah, it's just
So is there like an
It-
end
I
game
gotta-
to this?
I
Is there a
gotta ask.
story, or is this just like survive as long as you can?
No, it's kind of, there's a story mode, but there's also a survival mode standalone, because
Okay.
they're currently still developing the story mode, so there's only like 3 episodes right now, I believe.
So the main part of why people play it is just to see how long you can survive.
Yeah, mainly
Practically.
a lot of people play it for the survival mode, but I dabbled in the story mode a little bit, just to see, and a lot of the things in the survival mode, it's the exact same in the story mode.
Right.
A lot of the building to stay alive.
It's like a hardcore
I gotta
version of
ask.
Minecraft.
Based off of since you're into the story mode, how was the first encounter with that bear? I gotta ask, because I had that experience.
It did not go too well. I died. I'm not even gonna lie, I died.
He wasn't ready.
I was not ready.
He wasn't
I was not
ready.
ready.
John knows what I'm talking
No.
about. He saw whenever I first played through that scene.
That's scary.
It
It,
is.
it really is.
Imagine that happening to you, like in real life. You just get
What are you
rocked by a
doing, Spencer?
bear.
No,
How
I
about
just
now?
want you to imagine you're walking up to a building, okay?
I know.
You go through this gate. Right whenever you're about to close the gate, you see a gigantic bear running at you,
A
trying
grizzly?
to kill you. And then just running straight at you,
Yeah.
trying to kill you. And all you have
Unbelievable.
between you and that bear is a door. And then at the end of that, you have to go back out. But you don't know where the bear is.
I'm gonna have to try this game out. It's on Game Pass, right?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, no, it's on there. That's how
It's
I got
on
it.
there. I don't know. I got it because it was free on the Epic Games Store, and I had been looking at it for a while, but I of course I didn't want to pay.
Right.
I didn't want to buy it yet, and then it had happened. And Epic Games came out, and they were like, it was a free game, so I was like, I've been waiting for this,
Right.
Yeah,
And,
literally. I think
yeah,
you'll like
it's
it.
Yeah, it's just I love the music in it too. The music right when you start the story mode, like I don't know what it is. Just the music is. I really loved it, and I really liked the art style behind the whole game.
Oh yeah,
The
it is
long
something.
walks in the snow.
Yeah.
I think I might have to give it a shot just to see what we got going on there. I'll definitely.
Yeah,
take
man,
a look.
I'd give it a try. I don't, I want you to experience the story. You know what I mean?
And I will.
I gotta watch that.
I don't
if you
have-
stream it, that'd be perfect.
I don't.
That
I
would
don't
be-
have
that would be
the.
fun to
I don't have the blessings of being able to enjoy very many single-player, story-driven games for myself. But maybe I can lead into that too.
Yeah, I definitely, man. I would definitely play this game. It's an underrated gem, honestly.
Do you feel like
gonna
you're
be
gonna keep
multiplayer
playing it,
soon.
kind of like in between of
Yeah.
whatever else you're playing?
Yeah, I definitely I want to re-go in it because I still got another episode. I still got some episodes, and then they're still developing the story mode. So I'm
Right.
definitely gonna revisit it.
Awesome. And for 2020, what were your top games of 2020 that you felt yourself you couldn't put down? You had to keep playing.
Okay,
A lot
so
of-
this one it was honestly the game I truly loved this year, and I know it's gotten a lot of hate, but The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh boy.
I
I haven't
I-
seen it yet.
people Go ahead, Nate.
I feel like that game shouldn't have won Game of the Year for the Game Awards. That's all I gotta say.
Why though?
I feel like Ghost of Tsushima did better. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima did better. I
don't know.
I think the main argument between those two games is the people that
They were
really
released around
love
the
the
same time,
original, they did not like the story of The Last of Us 2.
See,
I'm sure it looked
That's
great and the gameplay was great, but they didn't like the story.
that's the
I
I
thing.
never
heard that
though.
too, but I
Like,
didn't mind it.
I loved the first one. I consider The Last of
one's
Us
amazing.
and Resident Evil like my two favorite franchises ever. And honestly, I had no problem with how the story went.
And I can't
know,
I
it-
can't
I
say
understood-
either
I
way.
understood why they went through there too.
I played
You
the
know,
first
it's-
one, and that was great. And I don't even remember how somebody ended up telling me like why they hated the second one about what happens to a certain character. I was like, oh, that's a big
God,
freaking
Yeah, see,
spoiler,
I
but
don't-
okay.
Yeah.
It's a huge spoiler.
It's a huge
I don't know
spoiler.
if we want to talk about it,
no,
but
let's not. I mean,
it seems like that's literally the only
that's
reason
the
I've
only
heard.
issue they
That's
brought it up.
literally the only issue that anybody can bring up about it is it
Honest, yeah,
is
there's
a main
could-
somebody die, something happens, of course.
Tragic events.
Yeah,
and-
so
I could agree with Scoop. It was a good game. I enjoyed playing it, but I feel like there's an reason why I didn't enjoy it as much as a lot of people did. But instead of Ghost of Tsushima, because Ghost of Tsushima is like one of my favorite games. I'll get into that. There's other games I actually enjoyed more than Last of Us 2, but I could agree with Scoob on this. Like, it was a good game. It was a good game. Like I said, recently I just finished it, and it's weird how they ended it in a way, but at the same time they did a good job on it.
But I know I feel like everybody's issue with this game is because of
The
what
beginning.
happened the beginning, and just because they didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get the story
didn't-
they wanted.
they wanted
It
more
wasn't
fan
as fan
service.
served
It-
as it wanted to be.
They all wanted it to end off on like the first one where everybody was still, around, alive, just you kind of it comes down to, I feel as things don't always go the way you want. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I get it.
With,
Yeah.
with the
I get it.
story. Things
that's how they
aren't
pretty much did. That's pretty much what they did with the
Stories-
story. They did a good job
stories-
with it.
are not gonna always end in the best of terms. You know what I mean?
And
It
it's not even necessarily about the way the game would end. It's just like the way it kind of
was
shocked you.
presented.
You're like, whoa, okay, so this is what this game is gonna be. Like, case in point, Metal Gear Solid 2. The Metal Gear Solid series is like one of, if not my favorite series ever. And I played the crap out of the original Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1. And you start Metal Gear Solid 2, and you play it for like about maybe an hour and a half. All of a sudden you find out, oh, you're not going to play as Solid Snake for the rest of the game, which the rest of the game's like another 5 or 6 hours. I only got to play as Solid Snake for like a portion of this. Who's this guy? Like, it threw so many people, and you had no idea.
Are you talking about Raiden?
Yeah, so you had no idea that there was going to be a new protagonist in this game. You had no idea whatsoever. And so for me, fuck no. Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2 was stupid.
Well, no, Raiden, I think because they gave him a solo game after that, I think.
That's not even a true Metal Gear Solid game. Don't at me about it. But, like,
I mean,
it was so weird because Raiden was such a different character. Even if you played the original Metal Gear games, you were Solid Snake as a rookie. He was still multiple times cooler than what Raiden was in Metal Gear Solid 2 because he's a rookie.
I can agree.
And they changed him a lot in Metal Gear Solid 4, and they made him finally badass. But his own game was not even a true Metal Gear game because it was not stealth whatsoever. But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I guess people got really upset about The Last of Us 2, not because of how the game necessarily ended, but because it was not what they expected it to be. Oh well. I wouldn't know because I haven't played it. I just know from everything people said.
I'm the complete opposite. I think it was a fantastic game. I loved every second of playing that game. I was hooked. I could not put the controller down. I stayed up a lot of nights playing into like 4 a.m. Still playing the game. I enjoyed it. The music, I really loved the music. Naughty Dog, they know what they're doing with their music.
They did it really good with scenarios in that game with the music. They did a
the
really
music,
good job.
it's something I've never felt. It makes you feel emotions that you've never felt.
And that's what a video game is supposed to do.
Didn't the first one bring a multiplayer?
The multiplayer, it's supposed to come out later. It's a standalone thing. They're working on it right now, but it's not ready. So, but yeah,
it's good. They didn't push it out like another game did.
Right.
Yeah, but I just and the thing with that game, it's so accessible to anybody. Like in terms of anybody with a disability, that has a lot of.
They did a good job. They did a really good job. With
a lot of things. A lot of a lot of settings that helped people with disabilities. Anybody with the color blindness or just anything. There were a lot of settings in the game that help.
Shout out to Crash, my colorblind friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Go play it, Crash. Just for you.
One day.
All right, so Nate, what were you playing going into the end of the year here? What were you playing?
Well, mostly, throughout this whole pandemic, I've been playing a lot of Yakuza, the Yakuza series. I enjoyed that. A lot of new games that came out was Valorant. I played a lot of Among Us, Phasmophobia.
We should get back into Among Us. That'd be fun.
Oh God.
They added a lot of new things to Among Us recently, but get to mod it on some of them. But I mean, I'm willing to do it myself. I'm willing to try it. It looks fun. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Valorant recently, and all I could say is it's a good game. I enjoy it. I enjoy playing with friends. But I can say is, if you solo queue in ranked, you're playing with death.
There's no way I would play like a team game ranked by myself. Absolutely not.
It's hard. It's hard because I'm glad they recently brought an update for it, for ranked itself, because so the system for ranked is no matter what you do, it's kind of like Overwatch.
Okay.
So the Overwatch, because like in Overwatch when you do rank, it's pretty much if you win or lose, you're getting to decide where you're getting put.
Right.
doesn't matter how best your abilities was, how good if you topped your team, you're gonna get placed where you're gonna get placed, especially if you lose some amount of time, even though you did a really good job.
So
It's all about the.
I'm trying to think of a match-made ranked system that's not like that.
Because the matchmaking in that game was kind of hard. It was kind of a pain. But they recently brought out a new rank system, like because you wouldn't know when you're gonna D rank or rank up.
Right.
It's a hit or miss. Doesn't show you how much you have obtained to rank up next or whatever.
You see, that's like how Halo was back in the day. You didn't know how far along you were in your rank, and you didn't know if do I got to win one more game or do I got to win 10 more games to go to the next rank. You had no idea.
You're playing in the ballpark with that. You play the ballpark with that, but they brought that in, which is good. They brought it in, but still, like, I feel like they should fix more of the One sec.
There he is. There it is.
Shout out to my father. He is right here. He's listening to us now.
Are you winning, son?
Are you winning?
Anyways, back to Valorant. So pretty much the rank system, you're able to show your progression where you're at. The matchmaking is a little bit better because like say you're getting a new rank, it shows you where you're placing, and actually if you're like in a low rank, it shows where you kind of properly are with the game of yourself is doing. But it's still a pain to sort it out, especially with solo queuing. Like I said, you're still playing with death no matter how many times you're solo queuing, because it depends on what your team is, because they're going to either be an official iron player. Iron is the lowest of the low, and they're just dumb.
So let me tell you this. Let me ask you this question. So is that how that community is? So obviously you got to start somewhere. Or you got to
start somewhere.
Does the community look down on people that are ranked that way just because, like, oh, I'm way better? Like, is that what that type of community is?
Because people, once they play rank and rank down to iron, they'll just play stupid, and no matter how they want to play. It's hard to find a team that actually is willing to grind out of iron to up to bronze, silver, gold, plat, like all the way up to radiant. It's hard to, like, around iron and bronze, it's kind of hard to find a team to actually cooperate with you to go to things like that, because they'll just try to troll the whole game.
That's like every objective-based match-made game I've ever played.
Yeah, it's like so. And anyways, if people didn't know, Valorant is pretty much based of CS:GO, the gameplay of it, with Overwatch abilities, like power abilities. You have your healers, you have your attackers, you have your defenders, pretty much similar to that. But
at some point I'll play it.
Huh?
At some point I'll play it.
Yeah, because you'll understand you'll understand what I'm talking about once you start playing it, Luna. But anyways, but yeah, the reason, and especially since I've been playing as a low, I'm not gonna lie.
Look, here's
when
proof.
I first started,
I'm waving it
iron.
on the picture. I have it. Here's the logo for it. I have it installed.
I see it.
I really have it. I'm not lying.
I believe you. You showed me it before. We talked about it.
I think I booted it up once, and I was like, "Nah, I want to go play something else instead." And then I played.
I think so.
You know what? Not right now.
Like, not right now.
But
right
anyways, back in Valorant, it's a cool game. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a cool game. I do recommend playing with friends, at least for most of your team, because it's a 5v5 team-based match. Pretty much like a search and destroy objective in a way.
Okay.
So pretty much that.
So there's no straight up like just team deathmatch style game in there?
There is a deathmatch game. It's called deathmatch because it's a free for all with 20 people. You pretty much whoever has the highest kills in the game, you pretty much win.
That's probably what I would go to. Gotta be honest.
You could, because honestly, I feel like when they added deathmatch, it adds people getting better with shooting.
That's exactly what you need. I need to be able to go into a game mode with people.
But there's issues right now that there's a gun called the Vandal, pretty much an AK, and with running headshots, because like I said, is more of a gameplay mechanic for CS:GO, as people understand CS:GO is like a slow paced game, and you have to walk slow, aim, actually stop walking, and aim right, and actually get the recoil spray pattern good, and not like Call of Duty, you can shoot anything and you get it.
Right.
So that's how it is, and it's hard. But recently, there's an issue going on right now. So it's called the running headshot. Is with the sniper, and the AK, and I think one of the light machine guns too. There's a running headshot that's really annoying. And also the other issues is Riot actually came out with, when you download the game, there's a anti-cheat called Vanguard.
Yep.
Vanguard is one of the highest anti-cheat platforms that they initiated from Riot itself.
Right.
And now the reason a lot of people are actually trying to hack the game and do like the aimbot and stuff, excuse me, is because they'll pay. They did a thing and say, if you're able to hack the game, I think they said they'll pay you or something like that.
What?
Yeah, like hold on.
All right, boys, I need to get on this.
Hold on, Valorant.
I need to target them.
Hack and Riot.
Well, okay, I would imagine, like, try to hack it, but not actually play in a hacked way. But if you can, we'll pay you, because obviously they want to know where the holes are.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. And since Vanguard's such a tight anti-cheat, they want to figure it out. And they said they'll pay you for doing it, but at the same time, it's really hard to do it, because once everyone finds out what it is, the aimbotting on that game, you'll notice when someone's aimbotting in that game. You'll notice the way how they're shooting, how their play style is, and it's interesting to find out. And you will notice right away. You will notice it.
Right.
And it's kind of hard to pinpoint it, but that's one of the issues I'm having, and also the running headshots is kind of a pain in the ass. But I mean, it's any other game, like I said, any other multiplayer game, you're gonna have issues, and it is what it is. For me, Valorant is like Call of Duty, a love and hate relationship with it. And I mean, I enjoy the game, I really do, and I want to get better at it. I want to grind out of bronze, because I'm in bronze right now. Because when I first started, I was in iron. When I first officially started, I started in iron, because I fucking sucked at that game. I'm not gonna deny I sucked. But I played with a lot of experienced people that were in CS:GO, and got into Valorant in the high rank area. I played with them with the unranking systems, and I learned from it. I learned how to play better. I learned how to do it. But like I said, solo queue is a big your wish upon death on that.
Yeah, like you're not gonna have a good time.
It's hard when you're solo queuing by yourself, you're trying to rank out of it. But another thing is, overall, minus Valorant, a game I actually enjoyed in 2020 was Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games I played in 2020. I haven't beaten the game myself because I want to stream it and record it, but it's kind of hard because my fans really, like, you'll hear my fan from the PS4. The fan's really high. I gotta clean it, but it's
just put it like behind you or something.
It sounds like no. I have it like literally like a couple feet from where my.
That's why I'm so glad I got the PS5 now, because I'm not gonna lie, the PS4 it sounds like it got loud. The PS5 it's dead silent. I can't hear it when I'm playing.
Well, it freaking better be. You spent all that time developing a new console. It better be silent when you know the last one was notoriously loud.
A lot of us knew it was like notoriously loud. Like once I played it at home, you could just hear it. That's why I don't really touch my PS4, but I want to beat the game. I really do. I'm probably gonna start playing it a lot more in my off time, since I don't want to start streaming it again. So
do it. Do it, and you let us
Just
know.
do it.
So, does anybody have any other games that they want to kind of speak back on throughout 2020, or something you might be looking forward to going into the new generation here?
Elden Ring. I'm looking forward to that. I know for a fact one of my best friends, IRL best friends, he is hella looking forward to Elden Ring, and was kind of upset when the Game Awards didn't announce anything about it, but it's a long-awaited game that I actually want to get into. It sounds fun. It's like another like Dark Souls-esque type.
What is it called?
I believe Elden Ring.
Elden Ring?
Yes.
Elden Ring release date, gaming platforms, content details. Upcoming action role-playing game developed by From Software and published by Bandai Namco. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, another game I actually got into recently was Warhammer Vermintide.
Warhammer. Okay, did not
Warhammer
see that coming.
Vermintide 2. I enjoy it. It's just pretty much your basic hack and slash. Like you don't have to think about anything. You just choose a character, use their abilities, and hack and slash through you're pretty much slashing in rats and orcs.
Oh, okay.
Mostly rats.
That makes
That's why
sense.
it's called Vermintide.
Vermintide. That makes sense. That's.
Yeah.
I will always wonder, like, why is it called Vermintide? What does that mean? I'll keep an eye on Elden Ring. Anybody else got something you're looking? I'm looking forward to hopefully a new Forza Horizon. You know, don't hold my breath for it, but you know, the next
That'd be
Forza.
Where at?
Japan or bust, basically. But
Dude, I just want a Forza game that actually has like in a Japan area. That would be pretty cool. I
I'm
think they
waiting.
did that,
In
didn't they?
Japan, we got a drift.
exactly.
Drift, yes.
It's basically what I'm really looking forward to, and you guys know I'm looking forward to Halo this year.
Oh yeah.
So am I. I'm looking forward to
my
Motorsport
question
8
is,
because I heard they're adding a couple things.
I think
My
Motorsport's still going to
I
be
want-
more than a year out.
what I want this
Yeah.
year for 2021 is Cyberpunk to get better, to get fix their shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I want because that game's it's a promising game. It's a promising game,
Has a lot
and
to be left desired.
it's a game that I want actually the people to actually give it another chance when everything is fixed up and just enjoy the game.
Any of those people that have been waiting for this game for so
Yeah.
long, they will continue to wait for it to be fixed.
They will. Like the long-term fans from starting from tabletop, yes. The people that send death threats, no. I feel like that's like what, like I said before, I will commit to that. That's one of the big issues they did, including what Scoop said from the beginning, early in the podcast, was management and the death threats for the developers.
Very true.
That is just sad. It's just sad to see that.
Too bad. People take that stuff a little bit too seriously, but you know, it's whatever. They don't
And
obviously they've never acted on such threats before.
Mhm.
But you know, it's just,
But still, it's like death threats to developers.
yeah,
and their
it's
families
stupid.
and
Don't get me wrong.
doing,
It's
like,
it's
That's a
stupid.
little bit too much.
It's way too much.
Once they dox them, they actually dox some of the developers too, and then threaten them. That's one of the big issues too. Like it was scary for them. I'm not gonna deny. Like if anyone doxed me and decides to like threaten me, and my family, it's scary. It could be a scary experience. I'm not gonna deny that.
Absolutely, like no joke. That shit it's fucked up, and people that do that there's something really deeply
There's
wrong
some.
with you if a game being delayed upsets you that much.
Yeah.
People gotta think about that before they go.
They don't.
With
Yeah, they don't realize.
irrational
Like you don't
decision.
think you realize what you're saying right now, but okay.
All
All right. Other than that, anybody else got any other games you
Yeah, man. I honestly this year another game I liked was Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Damn it.
I heard that one looked really good. My brother downloaded it on my account on Xbox. I'm thinking about playing it soon.
I want to play that so
I
bad.
definitely recommend it. You honestly, it's kind of hard to put into words, but it's the Crash game I've been wanting forever. Like
They did a really good job on the remakes too.
yeah, the trilogy, the remakes, but I'm talking we haven't had a new good Crash game
In
for-
years.
since I was a kid. Like
Right.
I was a
Since
kid, you know?
That was like 4
And
years ago,
in my
Scooby.
day.
No.
But no,
Since
like
I was a kid.
just- they brought in Luna. Well, you an old man.
we gotta get
I
you-
mean,
we gotta
since
get-
Luna and I were kids, we've been looking forward for a good Crash game, and this was I've been hearing what Scoop said. That's the game to go to.
I want
Because I
to
know.
I want to get to it. I really do, but I can't. But as soon as I can, I will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember playing the original ones. And what's the mask's name?
No one know. No,
What,
it's like a
which
weird
one are you
game.
talking about? Uka Uka?
There you
Which
go.
one?
Uka Uka. Him.
See, I know, boys. I know. I've been on it.
Because you played it. I haven't played
Yeah.
it in like
Yeah.
20
Like,
years.
Yeah.
like, dude, that name's
Oh,
fucking
gee,
weird.
boys.
I don't
Oh,
want to get mad. I don't want
Call
to get
me
mad and be
out.
like, okay, Uka.
Every time you
that
got the
noise,
mask.
pretty much.
Perfect. Awesome. I like that. I really want to play it. Like when I've seen it, when I saw it come out, I'm like, yeah. Like even the title of the game tells you like
They
we have been
added
waiting.
using Coco to it.
I know, it's about time.
It's about time. So
Honestly,
I agree.
Yeah.
All right,
That
so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move on to our final segment here for the evening. And like I said, this got a lot longer than I thought it was, but
honestly, same. I thought it was gonna.
we thought an
be-
hour and a half. We were 2.5 hours.
I thought, yeah, like I said, like I thought this thing was gonna be like 2.5 hours max, but since you brought the topics about a lot of stuff, we had a lot of input to it.
And
We did.
that's exactly what I wanted out of this. But we're gonna get a little bit more, a little deeper, a little bit more serious here, and I'll start by giving you guys a little bit of a monologue here, and then we can kind of, go off of that. Mental health has always been one of those things that it kind of sucks to talk about for a lot of people. There's always been like this social stigma because there are really shitty people out there that don't understand how much a person can be affected by different mental health disorders. People that don't understand, they look at depression as like, well, just cheer up, man, or just look at the bright side. Like, I literally can't. That is impossible for me to do. It's like me telling you to fly right now from the ground. You can't do it, right? I can't. So for me, when I was growing up, everybody played video games, right? We're all younger, and all the kids wanted to play video games and stuff. I always had the new consoles that came out. I had PlayStation 2 when it came out. I got the Xbox when it came out, Xbox 360 and all that stuff. And my friends would want to come over. We'd want to play the games that I had, Halo and all that
GameCube
other
was the shit.
stuff. But as I started to get older, I started to like gaming more and more and more. Well, most people started liking it less and less and less. Me and my best friend Richie, we always played games together. That's kind of one of the things that really is the basis of our friendship, is our love of gaming, outside of just we've been friends since second grade. But a lot of people, they'll play games on the outside, but it's never the number one thing that they like to do. It's just more of a, I got time to kill, let me pick up whatever I have, whatever's there. And like I said, there is that social stigma as well with gaming as there is with mental health, but not anywhere near the same. But people that love video games like us, sometimes we get told by people, oh, games are for kids, grow up, get a job. You could be doing something else right now than what you're doing right now. And they don't understand that maybe for me, this is the way I cope with things. This is how I deal with stuff. So it went from me playing games because I really, really liked it to me now playing games because this is my escape here. This is a way for me to unwind. Right after high school, I had a little moment, not a whole lot. It wasn't a very long time, but I did have some time where I had a really, really rough patch and I dealt with depression on my own. And the trigger for it, I didn't understand why it affected me so much, because I knew that situation I was in was toxic. And so being out of it, I should have known that this is a good thing, that I don't have to deal with it anymore. But for some reason, it just grabbed me and I couldn't get away from it, from feeling upset about it. But the one thing I noticed, this is when this kind of blended together for me, was the gaming made me forget about it. I wasn't me anymore. I wasn't having to worry about school or something like that. I was now the Master Chief in Halo, or I was Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid, or I was a soldier in Call of Duty. Like, I wasn't me anymore. This is my escape. And I know some people might feel like that's it's a band-aid, I guess. Like, well, you still have to deal with the real world. Like, true. However, if I'm feeling
It's
down
like
here,
it's a pain relief instead of leading towards drugs.
Like a stress reliever.
yeah, it's
definitely.
relief, but it's not a cure. So for me to start a gaming session feeling down here, and then afterwards, if I'm feeling up here, that is worth it, because now that I'm up here, I could start working towards finding a true like resolution or a true cure for whatever is bothering me, and that's what gaming has always been for me. So if I have something now, 32 years old now, I got 2 kids, I'm engaged, I got this house, I have all this stuff, but whenever something bad goes down, it's like I need a way to alleviate the stress, and gaming has always been that route for me. And then now compound that with streaming, where I realized I didn't have a lot of people that shared this love of gaming with anymore. And the only person that I really did doesn't live here anymore. He moved up north, down south. So it's like I had nobody now that I could sit and play a game with, which is why I originally came to Twitch in the first place. Was to show my friends that didn't live here anymore these games we're playing. And then I thought, let me try this and let's see who stops in. And like I said, and I've told you guys this before, Forza was never the type of game that I played by myself. I only got it because Game Pass was brand new, and Forza was one of the first exclusive titles that was free with Game Pass. And so I was like, fuck it, let's check it out. And me and Richie played it, and I fell in love with it, and here I am. So I feel like gaming is a great stress reliever, and it's a great place that more people than you think use as that outlet to deal with their own, mental health issues that they have. The only bad thing is it's also a place where you can get a lot of that stuff amplified and make it worse because there's a lot of shitty people out there. But I think communities like, especially this one that we've built here, I think it's a great place for people to come in and, express themselves with each other and learn to deal with that stuff. And, I tell this to a lot of people all the time, and, I want you guys to know that I mean this. You're not going to be bothering me if you ever reach out, if you just need somebody to talk to because you think I might understand where you're coming from. I'm more than happy to, sit and talk with you and listen to what's going on. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into what happened with me back in that day, but I will tell you that gaming and streaming for me has always been the outlet for me to deal with those things. I used to have a really bad temper, or like as much as you guys think I rage now, like back in the day, like it was totally different. I got physical with a lot of people. I would rush into fights and stuff like that, and I hated being that person. Even at the point, I knew what I was doing was terrible. It was not the way to deal with things. And at one point, like I just realized, like I can't do this anymore. Like this is exhausting being this type of person. And sadly, most people don't have that revelation. Like I have to try to make a change because they're so gripped by it that they can never have thoughts like that. They can't have good thoughts like that. And I was able to make a change, and gaming was a huge part for me to get myself in a better state of mind. And then eventually I had a child, and I'm in a great state of mind now. I'm tired, but I'm in a great state of mind. I'm always tired now.
Adulting.
Adulting is hard. It's not the funnest thing ever.
Who needs sleep?
Exactly. So I kind of want to leave it at that, and I want to get your guys' takes on mental health. If you know somebody that struggles, that you've seen use gaming as an outlet, or just your basic thoughts on it.
I'll go last because there's a lot of things I want to get into with mental health itself, especially with streaming.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Scooby. I'm gonna go after you.
Who's
It's gonna take me a minute.
Who's if you got nothing to say, that's totally fine.
Okay.
I understand it. There is it's not an easy thing to talk about, but and then at the same time, like if you've never dealt with it, then that's great for you. Like I'm happy that you've never had to deal with things like that. But Nate, go ahead. What do you got for me?
Okay, so I mean, let me start in my perspective. Gaming, like Luna said, I pretty much grew up to it. I grew up with it, and once I got older, I started coming to realization that gaming was an escape for reality for me.
Right.
It really was, especially dealing with school, parents, and stuff at home. I just enjoyed gaming. I used to hide myself in my room, just play games and stuff, and I enjoyed my time with it. And once I got older, I went through a depression in my senior year of high school towards a couple years, like a year or two after. Just a lot of stuff going on, and I just wasn't feeling myself, and I was depressed. And the best thing to do was playing video games, and I used to play my PS4 a lot. Like Luna said, you escape as a soldier. I escaped as Delson Rowe from Infamous, an NBA player from 2K, or like anything that came out. Like, I enjoyed myself for it. I escaped it. I mean, I knew I had to go back into reality and face the facts of stuff was going on, but it was a good temporary reliever for myself and play with my friends and just ignore and just deal with the day. And recently, when I started streaming back 2 years ago, when I got into more PC stuff and wasn't streaming as much, but I wanted to get into it, I enjoyed it and show my friends and stuff, like my friends and family, like, oh hey, like check this out, check the games for the gamers aside of my family, gamers aside of my friends, like check these games out. I wanted to try it. And and then I met a few people from there, like how I met Luna. I met all kinds of friends from that perspective, and I enjoyed myself. I got better, and I was able to, like, honestly, I can relate to Luna for having a bad temper. I'm everywhere right now. It's kind of hard to discuss it, but
yeah,
it kind of mixes with it. But I had a bad temper when I was younger, a really bad temper. I agree with Luna. Like, same thing. I always start, when something happens, I then start fighting. If anything happens, I actually just jump into it. I get upset, start throwing shit, punching shit. I became a Kyle for a second, if anyone gets that move.
Kyle.
God,
A Kyle punching walls and shit, making holes.
I know a guy like
It was
that.
it was a
think I
bad
know
it
a
was a
guy.
bad temperament. But what actually relieved me was video games. I actually started going to the gym. A lot of stuff helped me with it, and my friends, and I'm grateful for them no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then started streaming. I met Luna. I met a good community. As people know, when they go to my stream, I don't have that much viewers to it. I don't care. I just sit there, chill, talk to people, whoever comes by, and relax. And I met a lot of nice people. I met Luna. I met my friend Stephazoid. I met all kinds of friends from this, and then I enjoy it. And I wanted to get into, like, not my side of it, but how streaming could cause, when people are like not into mental health, and streaming, people can make, when they're streaming, a big issue, but they enjoy what they're doing. So let's say someone's depressed and they escape reality for streaming, they build a base, and there's people out there just being pieces of shits and want to dox them, threaten them, and all this stuff. Like, it could a big toll on a person's mental health. It really can. And one of my examples recently was a well-known streamer, is called JD Man. I don't know if you guys know her, but I saw her in one of the streams and I actually got into her. She has like a good following. She got a threat from her stream during her stream, saying, like, threatening her, like, to just show off, pretty much show off her boobs, or unless her, like, I have her, like, saying, like, I have her dad with her, I'm gonna kill him if you don't, pretty much threatening all this stuff. And it's like, people do that, and next thing, but she's like, I guess, like, from her, which is really cool, from like a community you grow, could check, because I guess a mod from her stream got in contact with her uncle that lived with her dad, and saying, no, he's asleep, he's right here, he's good. But like,
Yeah.
stuff like that can happen, and it's really scary, and it can put a lot of stress on the mental health like that. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see people in a community, and people like in a streaming community could do that to a person. Like, it really can, and it's sad to see, and it's fucked up, because there's a lot of fucked up people out there that will do that.
That's true. Like that's exactly what I was saying. Like, it's a many feathered bird, because there's so much to it that is good for you, and it helps you, like you said, engage with people, meet people, build friendships and stuff like that. But on the other side of it, there are a lot of just people out there that really have nothing better to do than just make life hell for other people. And that's the bad part.
It's sad to see, and especially I see a lot happening to the female side of streamers, and it's sad to see it, like, it's sad to see, and it just sucks.
Yeah,
it just
that's
sucks,
true.
because it's hard to explain it. It's hard to explain it, especially coming from a content creator side, that knowing a toll of like how much stress could cause it on you makes you want to quit, even though you have like so much of a base going. Like you want to keep going, you want to grow, you want to do stuff that you enjoy. Like, but stuff like this makes you want to quit and not deal with it.
Yeah, and I had a little bit of that when I first started streaming, and this is before I met anybody that was here. And I'd be playing just like random games or whatever, and the people that would come in weren't there to watch. They were there just to give me a hard time about whatever it was I was playing, or however I looked, or however I sounded. Like,
or
they
your
weren't,
game style, like how you play.
They
it.
were not
playing
there.
right.
Yeah, like they were not there to be nice. They were there just to, mess with me. And
Nitpick.
I was more. I've always been okay with that. Like, I don't care. Usually if I just see something that's dumb, I normally don't respond to it anymore. Even now, like if they say something that's just really like, you've tried, but that wasn't even a good I give them another shot. Like, try it again. Like, try to dig into me if you can, and then they don't have anything to say after that, and then they're gone. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, you gotta, with streaming, gaming on its own, there's so many, you could play what you want, not have to worry about anybody else. But streaming is one of those things where, a lot of people that do it, that deal with some type of mental illness or depression or anything like that, it's like, I hope to God you don't run into any of those problems, because I know that's going to make it so much worse.
I agree.
So much worse. And I'm just glad I've never really dealt with something too bad like that, but guess we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. Yeah. Wow, Angel with a 25-month subscription.
Hey.
Big balls.
Goodness.
Holy hell.
25 months. Insane. Heat, did you have anything you wanted to add to this?
I mean, based off of, because one of my friends who I've known for years that lives right next door to me, he kind of used gaming to cope with his issues going on, because a couple years ago, well, of course, he's a couple grades ahead of me, so he's already a senior.
Okay.
So basically, to put it in, for the past 2 years or so, his mom, there was a bunch of stuff that went on. He lost one of his brothers a year ago, which has been bothering him.
Yeah.
His mom moved out and went to go live with her boyfriend and kind of just left him there, and he's living with his grandparents that give him a hard time about everything.
Damn.
So he gets stressed all the time, and usually whenever he gets on, me and him play just to kind of, he gets his mind off of everything that's going on whenever we're playing. Kind of helps him boost himself up a little bit more throughout the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's been through a lot, but from a gaming perspective, you wouldn't be able to tell whenever he's gaming.
Yeah,
he's a whole nother person.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, or I was trying to get the point across when I was talking about how I would be so low when I start a session of whatever I'm doing, and like within 2 minutes of me starting whatever it is I'm in, like I feel already so much better about myself and about my situation. By the time like I put it down, I'm like, oh, like why was I so upset earlier? Like, okay, I'm feeling a lot better right now. It's just like, it's like being outside working on the yard all day, and you're just sweaty and you're dirty and it's hot, but imagine jumping into a cold pool. That's how it felt to me, from being so low and then starting a gaming session, and then afterwards it's like jumping into that pool and coming up, it's like, oh my god, like just so refreshing. I feel so much better. That's what I always used it for, and people would notice like, wow, you seemed okay, like you're not really that upset anymore. I'm like, oh, I know, like the gaming is for me. It's what it's always been for me. So
yeah.
that sucks. How is he doing? Is he okay?
I mean, he's doing all right now, of course. Well, he has to balance school, work, and all that stuff. But he's doing better now. Now, about a year ago, it would have been a different story, because there was so much more. But he's doing pretty good now. I mean, I talk to him every day to kind of check up on him. I help him out a lot. But yeah, no, because I've known him since I was in the 1st grade. So I've known him for a really long time, and I'm in the 10th grade now. So I've known him for a while. He's kind of helped me out for years now. I do the same for him.
That's like,
He's one of my best friends.
and the worst part about that is like so much of that is just stuff that's 100% like out of his control that he can't help in the first place. Like, you
Yeah.
can't help your mom just up and leaving and stuff like that. And then he lost his brother. It's like, so like, and that's what really gets people down too, is because things are falling apart and they're trying to live their life as best as they can, but things fall apart around you anyway. And they feel like, wow, no matter how well I try to live my life or no matter what I'm trying to do that's good, everything is just now falling apart around me. Like, what the hell am I supposed to, I have no idea what to do. And they feel so
Yeah.
helpless to even try to fix anything, because you think, like, well, if I couldn't keep this stuff going while everything was okay, how am I supposed to fix it now? You know,
Yeah.
it's just that's.
And of course, I can kind of relate to it because you knew, a month or so ago, I had that whole issue with one of my friends that passed,
Mm-hmm. That's tough, man.
which that bothered me for a good little bit because I had to kind of contain myself. Like, I didn't come to the streams consistently like I usually did for a good little bit.
And
'cause
that's
I
the
had to
thing,
kinda
too, like
cope
you,
with all of it.
yeah, and like what you said about how how your friend gaming made him seem like a totally different person. After you told me what had happened and that you were really upset about it, but the times that you did come into stream or come into chat with us and you're gaming with us, you didn't seem upset. You were a different person, and I'm sure gaming helped you get through that as well.
Yeah.
And that's just, like I
It
said,
helps.
it's a good
Gaming
way to
helps
cope with a lot of things, because you don't have to think about the other stuff, at least for a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about you, Scooby? You got anything you want to share with us?
Yeah, I feel like, especially with the whole with COVID and all of us staying
Oh,
home,
yeah,
it's
that's a
it's
big
kind of it's amplified, the issues
Yeah.
that
because-
everyone faces every day.
It's really hard, especially people that are so used to and minus gaming, when people are so used to like getting that their social life going,
like
and
social
knowing that they're
contact
not-
and stuff.
yeah, social contact
Yeah.
and stuff, like relieve that depression that they're going through. And now you can't really do it anymore, and you're stuck inside all day.
Hmm.
It takes a toll. It takes a toll on a person. It really does. And I seen it firsthand, and I heard, I think depression went up during this whole pandemic.
Oh, it
and
absolutely
it's-
did.
It's hard. It's
Depression went
hard.
up during the pandemic. Domestic violence went up a lot during this
Yeah,
pandemic.
Because
Just-
everyone's staying home, and it's everything happens.
it's really tough, man. And like you're saying, COVID makes it so much worse because you're forced to stay home. And then most people that go through depression, they don't want to go anywhere. They want to stay home, but they know there might be a chance today where I'll just get up and go somewhere, go take a trip to the store. But now you're
Yeah.
completely losing that
completely
because now
stuck.
you can't. Even though you might want to, because you think that might make you feel a little bit better and you're trying to take these baby steps to feeling a little bit better, now you literally can't because you're being told you can't, because you'll get sick. You don't want to get sick. You don't want to die. It's a terrible disease that's going on. And it's like, that's just one little bit of light that a lot of people lose during COVID, because you can't go anywhere. You're not supposed to go meet with people. And when people
Yeah.
tell you, like, people that deal with it, you tell them, just get out. Let's get out there. Come with me. Let's go meet some people. Let's go talk to some people. And now it's like, call me on the phone. Like, no, I don't want to answer. You can't force them to answer your phone call, but you can't actually be there in front of them now. So I gotta be honest, I didn't really even think about, I didn't even try to think about that, about COVID making that a whole lot worse. That's a very good point. Very
Yeah.
good point. Oh man, this definitely ended up being twice as long as we originally thought, boys.
I enjoyed it though.
I really
it.
enjoyed it.
Fun.
I enjoyed it. We just gotta be careful and shorten a lot of segments that if we talk about. If any
Well,
of
see,
us come
like,
back.
I gotta go back because I don't really notice how long the podcasts that I personally listen to are. I wonder how long they are. I guess I'll.
Yeah.
You could, so my thing is with a podcast is, if you look at it a little bit, if you're okay, so say you listen to it without seeing the video, you can know they're edited out a little bit.
A little bit.
You edit out the segments that are kind of like non-relevant, but like they talk about it either way. And there's ones you see on YouTube. You could tell they edited it out, but it's really hard because the transitioning of it is perfectly good.
Right.
So
Right.
you notice I've been watching this podcast called Trash Taste. It's an anime podcast with a lot of anime YouTubers with like CDog VA, The Anime Man, and Giga UK.
Yeah.
You could see how much like they get into it. I mean, the longest they did it was like almost 2.5 hours.
Damn.
I think that's without editing too.
Like I'm looking at what is still considered the biggest podcast in the world, which is the Joe Rogan Experience, and
Yeah.
all of his are like 3.5 hours long. But that's like, I'm not
That's
a professional
without-
interviewer, like,
Yeah,
and
but
that's not
that's,
what
like,
this
without
is.
all that.
He's interviewing people for like that long. So, but I felt like we didn't really ever have a lull in any of our conversations here, which is exactly what I was looking for. This could have easily have been a much longer podcast had I not been like, all right, we're gonna move on, like
Yeah.
time to move on to
Honestly.
the next thing, and that's a good thing because it saves it for later and makes us better at getting points across, I guess, without all the filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will leave it to you guys
Definitely
to thank our viewers here. You guys want to say any last words before we get out of here?
Thank you all for coming. I hope I come back on this podcast in the future.
I'll think about
it. Time.
We'll put you on the list for now.
You put me on the-
I
you
got
put me
you
on
on
the
the
list.
list.
But I enjoyed this, and thank you all for coming. And once again, I am Nate's AFK. You can come follow me on all platforms with the same name: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me on with Nate's AFK, and yeah.
Shout him out there for me, John. Mr. Heat, anything you'd like to say?
I mean, it was a great experience. I'm happy that I was able to be here to be able to do this. If you guys ever anybody out there wants to check me out and see my side of what I do as gaming goes, you can follow me on Heat Snipes on Instagram. Of course, there's my Twitch. You come check me out anytime. And you will be greeted as usual because I'm happy to see anybody there.
There you go.
But
Anybody and everybody.
Yeah, same.
Scooby, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to say to the people?
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out and watching the podcast. Thank you, Luna, for having me on here.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed our whole entire discussion. I never felt bored. I really enjoyed talking to everyone.
Yeah,
And
that's what I really like, and that's one of the things I was able to tell was that we were really having some really good conversations here, and I really hope to make sure we roll that into the next one, and I'll be posting that in the Discord. Those that are interested in possibly being on the panel. The only permanent member, I guess, is myself right now. As we keep doing this, we'll for sure know who is really buying into being on the panel or a permanent setting. But I want to thank you guys for really being here. You guys were awesome today. You guys really killed it as far as the things I gave you to look up and bring to the table. So thank you, boys. I appreciate that.
of course,
No
I
problem.
Problem, man. Thanks again
open
for
to be back
having us.
on.
Absolutely. So let me jump off of Discord and say goodbye to the people.
Later, guys.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Later, everyone.
Later.
See you guys.
Give me 1 second. Let me put my face back. Why is there a Razer logo back there? Look at that. Where are we? There we are. I don't know where that Razer logo came from, to be honest. There we go. So once again, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for coming here to support our first ever Moonbase podcast. You guys were awesome. I gotta figure out a way to effectively have chat be a part of the podcast too. And I was starting to have some ideas as to how to do it, and I'm thinking it may be somebody on the panel will be keeping an eye on chat and feed us questions that chat may have for us. I think that'll work. I think we could probably do something like that. So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us for the first ever Moonbase podcast. I'm going to get out of here. This VOD will be uploaded on YouTube by tomorrow. So if you guys want to come back and check it out, listen to some of our banter and whatnot, feel free to do so. It will be there. And then I'll also make it a highlight here on the channel as well. I say Angel is a great for that, Luna. I think that would also, yes, I think so. So just be there in the background listening, and then so-and-so says this. I think that could work. So once again, big shout out to Nate, Eat, and Scooby. Thank you guys for being awesome panelists today. That was so much fun. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to be taking tomorrow off because I've streamed Friday, Saturday, and now Sunday, but I will be off for tomorrow. I'll come back on Tuesday, and Lava, stay tuned. I will get you guys the next date for the next Moonbase podcast. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and I will see you Tuesday.